Milano alongside Knight Uretsky here back at Sparky Anderson Field after a trip up rather, to San Luis Obispo yesterday. The SLO Blues trying to bounce back after the Oaks are on a 2-game winning streak after defeating them. The Blues, they are wearing their road navies, a navy blue on navy blue matchup. A little bit confusing in the field.
Yeah.
Leading off for the Blues is Ryan Cermak. We'll get your jersey opinions in just 1 second. For the defense for the Oaks, Brian Perez is going to be the man on the hill for Conejo. First pitch to Cermak. Bounce in for a ball. The count 1-0. Defensively for the Oaks, it's Andrew Sharp behind the dish. Grant Smith at third. Naviak at shortstop. Zach Gregory at second base and Brendan Bobo at first. The 1-0 from Perez. In there for a strike, painting the corner. The count 1-1. In the outfield and left, it's Austin Carrillo. Dead center is Raul Sandoval. And in right field, as usual, it is T.J. Foreman. The 1-1, Perez lines one to Naviak. On a hop, throws to first, in time to get Cermak. So Cermak, after a strong day yesterday, grounds out for the first out for the Oaks. And that will bring up Mason Grotto. He is the CCL South leader in batting average. And Knight, please now give me your jersey opinions.
Well, these jerseys look like they're the vest jerseys. I like it. But this is the third different uniform we've seen the Blues wear.
Perez, first pitch to Grotto, lined into left field. Carrillo going back, stutter steps, now underneath it. One pitch, 2 outs. Mason Grotto flies out to left field, and there's 2 down in the inning for Austin Shell. Shell, he's someone who didn't appear yesterday. Go ahead.
So we saw the pinstripe jerseys at home both times we were in San Luis Obispo. The last time they had gray pinstripe uniforms, and now they have these vest uniforms. I like them. You can see Shell here. He has the long sleeve under the vest. I think it's a cool fit. I think it's cool they have so many uniforms.
Yeah, San Luis Obispo definitely treats their players very nicely. Austin Shell, the first pitch from Brian Perez. He looks at a strike on the outside part of the plate, the count 0-1. Austin Shell on the season, batting .349. He has 30 hits in 86 total at-bats, including 2 home runs. Perez shakes. Now to the dish. The 0-1 misses below the zone. The count 1-1 to Austin Shell. And Shell, he did not appear in the starting lineup in yesterday's game, but he did come in a pinch hit appearance in the bottom of the 9th inning, where he grounded out to shortstop for the second out of that inning. Perez delivers this one above the zone, so the count is 2-1 to Austin Shell. And Perez, for the Oaks, he's getting his second start on the hill on the season for Conejo, a typical reliever out of the pen. Now jam shot, fly out to second base at Gregory, moseys underneath it, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Perez. When he comes back for the top of the second inning, we'll give you more about Perez's context, but the Oaks, after the 1-2-3 inning, are trying to strike first in the home half. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Bottom one, Grant Smith batting leadoff for the fourth day in a row for the Oaks. Since he has started as the leadoff hitter, he has been hitting the ball incredibly well. First game at leadoff, he went 2 for 4 batting average. Then the second day, he reached base 4 out of his 5 at-bats. Yesterday, he reached base 3 out of his 5 at-bats. So now he's trying to continue his hot start as the leadoff hitter for the Oaks. First pitch into him, cut through and missed, a strike. Vaughn Marrer, he is the pitcher on the mound for the Blues. We have not seen Marrer this season yet, at least against the Oaks. The 0-1 into Smith, misses low. The count is 1-1. Vaughn Marrer on the season, 2-0 record. He has wins against the Arroyo Seco Saints and the Mudcats. That's a non-league game. The 1-1 misses outside. The count 2-1 to Smith. So the total line on the season for Marrer, he has 11 innings pitched, a 4.09 ERA, along with 10 strikeouts. Smith, check swing, does not go around, and the ball misses outside, so now Smith ahead in the count, 3-1. Smith, he's been someone that we mentioned his leadoff success, has been hitting the ball incredibly well as of late. On the season, Grant Smith is batting .327 in conference play. This time he fouls a pitch off, and we'll see the count worked full, where he has been successful throughout the entirety of the season, is working counts deep. Right here he's about to see his 6th pitch. He saw 2 at-bats of 6 pitches or more yesterday, and then the day prior, he saw all 5 at-bats of at least 5 pitches or more. The 3-2 misses up in the zone, and Grant Smith, a 6-pitch full-count walk to get aboard, and he continues his high on-base percentage at the top of the order.
And this is exactly what you want from the leadoff man. Grant Smith, not really a leadoff hitter coming in to that first game. He's gotten a lot of advice from other players like TJ Foreman, who has been able to lead off many times. And Smith right now finds himself on first. That's exactly what you need as a leadoff hitter, whether it be a single, a double, a triple, home run even. Right here, a walk, that's as good of a hit. And you have a man on with nobody out to start the game for you.
And that brings up Zach Gregory playing second base today. Gregory did not appear in the game yesterday against the Blues. If you do not remember, the Blues, they ended up losing that game as Zach Gregory gets hit on the first pitch. So now the first 2 runners are on for the Oaks. Gregory on first, and Grant Smith moves over to second base. But yesterday, the Oaks, it looked like they were headed to another close loss against the Blues. They were down 5-3 headed into the 8th inning. But then a 4-run bottom 8, including a bases clearing 2-out double by Cody Sulak, gave the Oaks a 7-5 lead. And then in the top of the 9th inning, Scott Rudinsky, he drove in another RBI to add a 8-5 lead. And then Clay Rickerman came and shut it down with the save. That was the Oaks' first win against the Blues on the season. Reagan Burford now in the 3-hole, the designated hitter today. Moderer checks the runner at second. Now goes to the dish. Burford squares to bunt, gets it down. Moderer picks it up, throws over to first. It's in time, but both runners advance. So a sacrifice bunt from Reagan Burford.
And that was a perfectly placed bunt for Burford just to advance the runners. Smith, he heads over to third. Gregory, he's over to second. And although Burford didn't get on base, wasn't the absolute perfect bunt, but it was the perfect bunt to advance the runners, and that was exactly what he was set up to do. And now you put 2 runners in scoring position for Brendan Bobo, and the first time he came up yesterday, he hit a double. So right here, a great spot for your power hitter.
Yeah, and speaking of that inning yesterday, it's very similar to what we see here in the top or in the bottom of the first inning today. In the top of the first inning yesterday, Smith got on with a single, and then Bobo, he doubled to put runners on second and third. Then a fly out scored the first run of that game. First pitch to Brendan Bobo, too far elevated. It is a ball. The count 1-0. Brendan Bobo on the season, he has been batting well, batting .295 on the year. In conference play, it has not been as successful for him. He's batting over .600 in non-conference, but in conference play below the Mendoza line. So he fouls one back. The count is now 1-1 to Bobo. And what we saw yesterday is the runner from third be able to score on a sacrifice fly by Brendan Durfee, but Brendan Bobo was stranded at third when there were runners on second and third in that game. So right now, Brendan Bobo trying to be more effective with 2 runners in scoring position than the Oaks were yesterday, but the key is still to drive in at least 1 run. Bobo grounds one to the second baseman, looks over to home. Grant Smith already scampered in, and Kretschmar throws on to first to retire Bobo, so 2 outs in the inning, but the Oaks strike first.
And that's exactly what Bobo was put into the game to do. You have 2 runners in scoring position, 1 on third and 1 on second. If any ground ball deep into the infield, that's going to score a run. Guess what? It does. Grant Smith, he comes in to score, and now Zach Gregory with the ball shifted to the right side of the infield. Gregory, he heads over to third, so a runner 90 feet away, and you're already up 1-0.
That brings up TJ Foreman. He's batting .258 on the season. He has 16 hits, 2 of them being extra base hits, now with a runner on third and 2 outs. Watches the first pitch, a slider, catch the low and outside part of the zone for a strike. The count 0-1 early to Foreman. And so yesterday, we mentioned the Oaks, they stranded a runner on third after scoring 1. Now right here, they have scored 1 with a runner on third and 2 outs. TJ Foreman, he is trying to drive in that run. The 0-1 at the eyes, above the plate, but misses the zone for a ball. The count is 1-1 to TJ Foreman. Yesterday, Foreman, he came up with a runner on third base, but was not able to score him as he grounded out to the first baseman, and Brendan Bobo could not come home. Now Foreman fouls off a pitch. It's 1-2. That time yesterday, it was with 1 out in the inning. Today, it's with 2 outs, so now a hit is needed. Austin Carrillo goes and fetches the foul ball. Foreman falls behind 1-2.
And Shell behind the dish. He's catching today. The last 2 times that we saw him start a game for the Blues, he was playing at first base.
The 1-2, Foreman grounds one up the middle. Kretschmar squeezes it with his glove, throws to first, and it's in time to get him. So the Oaks, they score 1. They strike first in the game. No hits, no errors, and Zach Gregory left on third base. Brian Perez trying to continue his hot start in the top of the second inning when we come back on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by Katie. Tate Samuelson, he is the third baseman today and leading off the top of the second inning in the 4th spot in the batting order for the Blues. Brian Perez went 1-2-3 on just 8 pitches in inning number 1. Comes back to work here with the first pitch, grounded to second base. Gregory makes the pick, throws to first in time, and now another 1 pitch, 1 out for Brian Perez. He's retired 4 batters on just 9 pitches.
And it's been impressive. He's throwing a lot of strikes. We've seen multiple strikes to batters. You saw 1 strike to Cermak. You saw a strike to Shell. Then Grotto and Samuelson, they swung at the first pitch. So, you know, Perez, he's throwing balls in the zone. They're hittable, but they're getting outs. That's what it is.
First pitch to Clarkson in at the knees for a strike. TJ Clarkson, he was in the lineup yesterday at first base. He is in the lineup again today at first base. Yesterday, Clarkson, as he fouls off a pitch, he reached base twice, 1 on a hit by pitch, once on a fielder's choice, but was retired the last 3 times he came to the plate, grounded out to second in the 4th inning and also to end the game in the 9th, and then struck out swinging, sandwiched in between in the 7th. The 0-2, too far elevated from Perez, so the count is 1-2 to Clarkson. Brian Perez. On the season for the Oaks, he has a 4.9 ERA, not a typical starter. He started the last game that they played against the Blues before yesterday, as we see Clarkson stay alive in the count, fouling off a pitch. That was his first start of the season on July 4th. He went 4 innings, allowed 2 earned runs off 7 hits and 1 walk, so 8 total base runners. The 1-2, Perez grounds right back up the middle through the legs of Perez and gets into the outfield. And Brian Perez, after that ball got out to Sandoval, sort of motioned down, as I think he thought that he had a chance to get that one, but a hard hit ground ball right back up the middle. It would have taken a extreme athlete in order to get down and make that play. And Perez, he is an extreme athlete, but right there, a little bit difficult to finish the motion and then get down with the glove down on a ball that was rocketed right back up the middle.
Yeah, that excellent velocity off the bat, that was unreal as it was shot right back to the mound. Perez, he basically just jumped up over the ball as the ball went right between his legs and right to center field. It was a rocket, and I don't know if anyone can make that play.
Austin Kretschmar watches the first pitch, missed the zone, the count 1-0. So the first base runner of the day is on for the Blues. It's TJ Clarkson at first base. He's being held on by Brendan Bobo. Zach Gregory shaded closely towards the second base bag. A big hole in between Bobo at first and Gregory at second. Kretschmar batting .267 on the season. The 1-0 misses inside. The count is 2-0 early to Kretschmar. So Brian Perez behind in the count for the first time today. He has been throwing strikes a lot early. Kretschmar yesterday, he walked twice, doubled in the 7th inning. He only was out 1 time, and that was in the second, a flyout. Clarkson is the runner on first. The 2-0 catches the zone for a strike. The count is 2-1. And Austin Kretschmar, a Stanford man, batting 6th in the order today. He's appeared in just 5 games for the Blues since he came from the College World Series with the Cardinal. He's had 15 at-bats, 4 hits, including 1 for extra bases. Only a single RBI on the season as Brian Perez checks the runner at first. Back in time is TJ Clarkson. And Clarkson, not a stolen base threat, has not stolen any bags on the season. He's reached base over 30 times, so a lot of opportunities for him to steal, but has not taken any bags, so not a stolen base threat. Kretschmar, shallow line drive into center field. Sandoval makes the dive and the play. The throw to first as he's trying to get back cannot be picked by Bobo, and TJ Clarkson dove back in to avoid getting doubled up, but Raul Sandoval with the play of the game to this point. Full extension. We've seen the Oaks not be able to make some diving plays this season. Raul Sandoval had a beat on it and made an athletic play.
Man, what a play by Sandoval right there. I thought he was going to get the runner at first. Bobo just couldn't pick it off the one bounce, but man, dives in center field, gets up, throws a dart to first. Just unfortunate it had to bounce, and Bobo couldn't corral it. Almost a double play, but heck of a play, diving play in center field.
Vinny Bologna, first pitch to him. Catches his zone for a strike. Bologna on the season, batting .182 through 8 games. 4 hits and 22 at-bats. That's his total for the season, but he does have 1 long ball. A right-handed hitter probably will not add another one today as the wind is gusting towards right field. He grounds one to shortstop. Smith cuts it off at third base, throws to first in time, and the inning is over. So 1 hit, the first hit of the game for the Blues, the first hit of the game for either team, results in no runs scored and 1 runner left on. As we head to the bottom of the 2nd inning, you're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream on YouTube. Bottom two, Oaks lead 1-0. Austin Carrillo leading off in the 6 hole for the Oaks in the bottom of the second inning. Sandoval on deck, Andrew Sharp in the hole. Vaughn Moderer still on the hill. First pitch to Carrillo, fought off the hands for a strike. The count 0-1 from Moderer. Austin Carrillo, he's someone that was a typical starter for the Oaks, has not had as much playing time this week, but has been swinging the bat well, batting .308 on the season. He has 39 at-bats and 12 hits. The 0-1 runs away from Moderer, finishes outside. The count is 1-1. And the defensive alignment for the Blues, you mentioned Austin Schell behind the dish. Clarkson, he's at first base. Austin Kretschmar at second as the 1-1 misses low and inside, so the count is 2-1. Ruben Mercado at third, Tate Samuelson on the hot corner. Ruben Mercado at shortstop, excuse me. Tate Samuelson on the hot corner at third. Costello, Cermak, and Bologna round out the outfield from left to right. Moderer, the 2-1 to Carrillo. Fouled off out of play, so now Carrillo has 2 strikes, and we've mentioned it a few times this season about how competitive Carrillo gets with the pitcher when he's down 2 strikes in a count, how it's the battle between him and the pitcher, especially once he gets to 2 strikes. And I talked to him, and he said he's one of the more competitive people on the team, and that he does not like to lose, especially in the one-on-one battle against the pitcher, and that's what he treats it as, especially when he goes down 2 strikes in a count. Choking up on the bat is Carrillo. The 2-2, he looks at it. Ball misses low and inside. Some of the Blues players wanted the strike call. Carrillo watched it. So now the count is worked full.
Yeah, Carrillo, he enlightened me with that idea. He was telling me that, baseball, they say it's a team sport, but when you're at the plate, it really is a one-man show. It's you versus the pitcher, 1v1.
Carrillo grounds one up the middle off the glove of Moderer. Kretschmar has to go and get it, and he gets Carrillo just in time. Kretschmar was looking for the play up the middle, had to stop in his tracks and revert, and he was just able to get the ball and the throw over to first before Carrillo could tap the bag, so the first out of the inning is recorded.
And I thought Moderer right there was going to ruin the play for the second baseman, Kretschmar. It went off of his glove. It slowed down the ball's rotation a little bit as it slowly rolled to Kretschmar, but Kretschmar able to pick it up and throw the ball quickly over to first, gets the out, and Carrillo not fast enough to beat it out, but a 6-pitch at bat.
That brings up Raul Sandoval. Sandoval on the season has not had the type of success at the plate that he would have wanted. So far on the year, he's batting .111, just 4 hits and 36 at-bats. Gets brushed back on the inside part of the plate for the second pitch of the at-bat. The first pitch was a ball. The second pitch was a ball. So now Sandoval ahead in the count, 2-0. He's had 2 walks on the season, but that goes along with 18 strikeouts. He fouls one off out of play towards the right side. The count is 2-1 to Raul Sandoval. And he has struggled a little bit at the plate, especially recently in terms of the strikeouts. Yesterday, a 3-strikeout day for him. That makes it 11 strikeouts in the last 6 games for Sandoval. He skies one into shallow center. Going back is Mercado, settling underneath it in shallow center, makes the play, and 2 outs are retired in the inning.
And Sandoval, he's not really been swinging the bat well, but he's been doing a great job fielding the ball in center field. I mean, we saw the play where he dove and got the runner out on the diving play and then threw it back to first. So although his success hasn't been so great at the plate, he's had a lot of success in the field, and I think that's why you see him in this lineup consistently with the Oaks.
Andrew Sharp, the catcher in today's game, he is behind the dish batting 8th. Now with 2 outs here in the inning, Andrew Sharp trying to come through for the Oaks. The first pitch from Moderer. Check swing from Sharp. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says the third base umpire. So 0-1 to Andrew Sharp. He's batting .214 on the season, but he's come up big with a few big hits on the year. He has a home run on the season that came in a non-league game against one of his high school teammates. Now he's facing off against Vaughn Moderer in this league game. Moderer catches the outside part of the plate. A well-executed pitch that came at the knees and just brushed the plate. So the count 0-2 to Andrew Sharp, who on the season has struck out 14 times.
And Moderer right now, this was his best at bat he's had so far. Starts 0-2, he's ahead. It'll be interesting to see what he goes to with this 0-2 count to Sharp.
The 0-2 swing and just getting wood on it is Andrew Sharp. hit off of the top of the bat, and it was a spinner right behind home plate. Barely stayed alive, but the third pitch of the at-bat to Sharp is a foul ball, so we will see 4 pitches to Sharp. In the first inning from Moderer, we saw him have 15 pitches. In this inning so far, he had 10 pitches coming into the at-bat, 13 already if you include this at-bat. Make it 14 after that pitch misses, so he will have an equal or higher total of pitches in the second inning as he did in the first, but the first he did give up a run, and in this inning has not given up a single base runner. And so Andrew Sharp starting the game behind the dish. It's the first time we've seen him back there in a little while as he gets rung up, strikeout looking. The inning is retired 1-2-3 for Vaughn Moderer, and his first strikeout of the day ends the bottom of the second. To the top of the third we go. The Oaks, they lead 1-0. Top of the third inning. Top of the third inning. There we go. We are back. Had a few issues with the audio. So now it's top of the third inning. Nick Costello, he is leading off the inning for the Blues. He's seen 4 pitches already in the at-bat. He is ahead 3-1 in the count. Brian Perez back on the hill. Perez delivers to the plate, misses outside, and lets the leadoff batter on. Costello gets aboard with a 5-pitch walk.
And that's been the worst at-bat for Perez all game. It was a 5-pitch at-bat that ends in a walk right down the line. He had a 3-1 count, so not his best performance on the mound. But overall today, he's been impressive. 8 pitches the first inning, then 12 pitches the second inning. Right now, starts off with a 5-pitch walk.
Ruben Mercado, the 9-hole hitter, as Perez checks the runner back at first. He dives back in safely. Mercado on the season towards the bottom of the Oaks, or bottom of the Blues in terms of batting average. First pitch to him. Pulls back. Ball misses away. The count 1-0. Mercado on the season batting .226. 12 hits and 53 at-bats. None of them have been for extra bases. He has reached base 7 times via either the walk or the hit by pitch, so has been able to get aboard in other facets. Perez checks the runner back at first. He's back in time. Yesterday we saw Ruben Mercado reach base twice. Did not get a hit, but he did reach base on a walk and a fielder's choice. Came around to score both times. The 1-0. Mercado squares one outside of the bag. We thought that Sharp had a chance to go and grab it, but it was just foul of the first base foul line. The count is 1-1.
And right there, if that ball is a little bit more in front of Sharp, you could see him getting the ball. It's in fair territory. You could throw it down to second and get the runner out. That wasn't a great bunt from Mercado from the get-go.
Well, I think that's a little bit risky. We've seen a few times where Oaks have tried to turn two and make aggressive throws on the base paths, and it's allowed for both runners to get on. The 1-1, squared to bunt, but pulled back. It was away. The count 2-1.
I wasn't even thinking about going for 2. I just meant getting the runner out at second. I think there was a play there if he gets it and throws to second immediately.
Well, Mercado didn't even leave the box, so if he was going to get the out at second, he was going to get the out at first. I think Ruben Mercado knew that that ball was going to bounce foul. The 2-1, Mercado still squares to bunt, and it catches zone for a strike. Mercado did not pull back. He actually pulled back after the ball was in Sharp's glove, tried to get away with it. Either way, the home plate umpire called the strike on the pitch. So the count, 2-2 to Ruben Mercado. On the season, Mercado has 6 strikeouts. At first, Nick Costello. Perez goes to pick off once again. It's not in time to get him. So Brian Perez, he's allowed just 2 base runners. Once in the second inning with a single, and then the leadoff runner here in the third. The Blues had a lot of success with leadoff runners. As the runner goes, Mercado bounces one to Naviak. The runner got to second before Naviak had a play on a fielder's choice, but Mercado retired at first with the throw.
And right there, Naviak, he might have had a play at second. Now, the runner, Costello, he was already at second base, but he turned and rounded the bag. If Naviak just turns to his left and maybe taps on Costello, he could have had a tag play and then thrown to first.
And that's going to bring up the top of the order, Ryan Cermak. Now with 1 out and a runner in scoring position for the Blues. Last time up, he grounded out to Naviak at shortstop. Yesterday, he had one of the better days that we've seen from him all season long. Perez checks the runner at second, goes to the plate, misses low and away. Squirts out of the glove of Sharp, but he keeps it in front of him. Cermak, his first 3 at-bats, went 3 for 3, including a double, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored, but his final 2 at-bats were outs that did not advance any runners, so started to cool off towards the end of the game yesterday. The count 1-0 to him. Gregory holding the runner on at second base. Perez checks, now goes to the plate, skying it high in right field. Foreman gives it a look and then watches it fall out of play. The count 1-1. And so we've seen today the all-star, or the showcase lineups rather, be announced for both teams. The Blues, they had 7 representatives. The Oaks had 6. We see a few of them in the field right now. Brendan Bobo, Zach Gregory, and Grant Smith all were named to the showcase team. Perez checks the runner. It actually got the runner in Nick Costello slipping, but there was no one at the bag to cover. Zach Gregory crashes. That's an out, but he did not, as Perez fooled the runner in Costello to keep him honest. And Costello looked like he was going to be running, or at least taking a strong secondary lead. The 1-1. Cermak watches it outside. The count is 2-1. So Perez paying a lot of attention to the runner. has had just 3 pitches in what has been one of the longer at-bats in terms of time of the day. Not in terms of pitch count. But Perez has not exceeded over 5 pitches in any at-bat. The 4th one to Cermak coming in here. Perez checks the runner. Gregory bails out, going to third and bounced on the infield. Naviak backhands. Throw is not going to be in time. An infield single for Ryan Cermak to advance the runner to third base, and that makes runners on the corners with 1 down in the inning.
And right there, that was a high chopper to the back part of the shortstop play. Even if Naviak throws across the diamond, Cermak, he has a lot of speed. He probably wasn't going to get there. That's why he held up on the play. It's a perfectly placed infield single for Cermak. And right now, Cermak, with that speed, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to steal second. We've seen the Blues be so aggressive on the base paths already. You saw Costello try to steal a couple of bags, and then they had the hit and run. Wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a stolen base from Cermak or another hit and run.
Here we see Mason Grotto. He's one of the representatives we will see at the CCL Showcase game. He watches a pitch, catch the zone for a strike, the count 0-1. And Grotto, he has had 100 at-bats on the season tonight. I want you to guess how many hits he's had in those at-bats.
Ooh, I'm going to say roughly around, I'm going to say 44.
44, you're very close. It was 41.
Oh,
batting
so
410
close.
on the season. The runner's going. Bounce to shortstop. Naviak does not have a play at second. A run is going to score, and Mason Grotto thrown out at first, but an RBI. So this game is tied up at 1 apiece.
And just like I said, there was speed in Cermak at first base. So the Blues, they've been aggressive, stealing the bases and having the hit and run. And right there, the hit and run prevents the double play from happening. Cermak gets into second safely, and the run comes in from third in Costello. It was an excellent play for the hit and run because they've been utilizing it the whole inning. It started with Costello when he first got on with the walk. A hit and run advanced him to second. Then a hit and run advanced him to third. And now a hit and run brings him home. And now Cermak, he's on second, runner in scoring position for the Blues.
And so we were talking about the CCL Showcase game and the representatives for the Oaks. I mentioned Bobo, Gregory, and Smith. Those are half of the representatives. Reagan Burford also made the team, as well as Anson Arrows. And then on the pitching side of things, Cody Adcock was the only pitching representative for the Oaks to make the Showcase game. That will be this Wednesday, rather. Austin Schell watches the first pitch for a ball off the plate. Schell flew out on the infield his last time up. The 1-0. Austin Schell 0 for 2 in his last 2 plate appearances against the Oaks. As this pitch misses outside, Sharp keeps it from going to the backstop. The count now 2-0.
And Brian Perez right now, it seems like he's having a lot of trouble locating pitches on the outer part of the plate. It seems like a lot of the pitches that he's throwing is missing outside, and it's causing him to drag the catcher, Andrew Sharp, and bring him to the right side of that right box. Be interesting to see what happens when he faces a lefty.
The 2-0 fouled off the end of the bat. That's the first strike of the at-bat to Schell. And so we've talked about it a few times with Brian Perez on the hill. He has that 3/4 arm slot, and sometimes that can result in a little bit of run towards that outside part of the plate to a right-handed batter. Because you do start so close to third base, you have to throw it a little bit from our eye, from left to right. From him, right to left. The runner's going. This one flared into right field. Going back is Foreman, just over his glove. To the wall, an RBI double, as getting into second base safely is going to be Austin Schell, as Ryan Cermak comes around to score, and the Blues, they lead 2-1.
And the Blues, they're using the hit and run again. You could see Cermak, he was playing with Perez, thought maybe there was going to be a throw back because Cermak was probably halfway between second base and third base, does not get the throw back from Perez, so then Cermak takes off towards third. Schell hits one opposite field just over the reach of Foreman, which is hard to do because Foreman has a lot of speed in right field. But even without the hit and run, I think Cermak does score on the double, but an impressive play. A hit and run all inning, that's been the story here in the third for the Blues.
So now we will see the 6th batter of the inning, Tate Samuelson. His first pitch he saw, he grounded out to second base to lead off the second inning. Watches the first pitch in here for a strike, the count 0-1. So 2 outs in the inning, a runner in scoring position. That was the same situation that we had with Austin Schell to the plate. Schell came through with a 2-out RBI. Tate Samuelson trying to do the same. Samuelson. He's someone that it will watch a pitch go past Andrew Sharp. The runner will quickly go to third. So 1-1 the count here. And Samuelson, not a representative, or actually he is a representative in the CCL Showcase game. He is a third baseman, and that's the slot that he gets. So the way that the CCL Showcase game works is that for each position, there are typically 2 players that are named. The Blues, they actually are part of the North Division roster, even though they are in the CCL South, as Perez offers a pitch that is swung on and missed from Samuelson. So now 2 down and 2 strikes and a 1-2 count to Tate Samuelson. So to even out the teams, to have 5 teams apiece, the Blues, they are counted as North because they are from Central California. Samuelson lines one into shallow right field. Foreman squeezes it, ends the inning. And the Blues, they take the lead after 2 hits and 2 runs with 1 runner left on third base. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. JT Naviak seeing his first at-bat of the day, the only batter for the Oaks that has not hit yet today. So it's 9-1-2, Naviak, Smith, Gregory. First pitch to Naviak from Moderer. Catches the zone for a strike, the count 0-1. Right now, this game is another big one between the Blues and the Oaks as the 0-1 thought about swinging, breaking ball that ends up in the dirt. Naviak looks at it, so the count is 1-1. The CCL standings right now, the Oaks, they're a game back of first place with a 7-6 record in conference play. Moderer delivers the 1-1. Check swing, and he went all the way around. That pitch was too far elevated, caught Naviak going, and the count is 1-2. St. Louis Obispo is tied for first place in the standings with the Arroyo Seco Saints at 8-5. Naviak watches a pitch, breaking ball, miss outside. The count is 2-2. And so if the Oaks win this game, then the Blues, they will fall to 8-6. The Oaks, they will advance to 8-6. And with the result of Arroyo Seco in the balance, as Naviak watches a pitch above the letters for a ball, the count is now full. The Oaks, if they win this game, will be tied with the Blues and potentially tied for first place in the CCL South. So right now it's looking like a 4-team race between the Blues, Saints, Foresters, and Oaks for the top of those standings. As the 3-2 misses low, and Naviak, after going down 1-2, works his way aboard.
And yeah, it is a 4-team race, but the big thing is that the top 3 teams in the South will go to the playoffs. And the other big thing is the Santa Barbara Foresters, they're not going to be in the playoffs. They elected that they do not want to play in the CCL playoffs. They want to go back to Wichita, play in the Wichita World Series, in which they won last year. And so they're hoping to go there and defend their title. And so really it's just the 3 teams, the Oaks, the Saints, and the Blues, that right now that are competing for those top 3 playoff spots. But the top team in the overall division, they're going to get a bye. And the higher you are in the rankings and standings, you're going to have a better seeding. And so it's really crucial down this stretch for these three teams to battle it out for that top spot.
Grant Smith watches a pitch in at the knees for a strike, the count 0-1. Smith's first time up, he walked on 6 pitches. Naviak at first. And so, yes, Santa Barbara, they are going to go to Wichita to try to defend their national title. That national title, a little bit of an asterisk to it because no one else in the CCL fielded a team in 2020 other than the Foresters. So they didn't really have any competition. And after today, there's a potential for them to be in 4th place in the CCL standings if the Oaks win this game. And Grant Smith watches a pitch. It goes outside. Naviak dives back into first. So the count is 1-1 to Grant Smith. And wouldn't it be funny if the Foresters don't even make the CCL playoffs and still go to Wichita to try to defend their title? I think that
would be so ironic.
I think that would be ironic and hilarious, especially for the Santa Barbara Foresters, who all season long have kind of been boasting about how this 1-2 pitch fouled off by Smith, bragging about how they are the defending champions, even though no one really fielded a team last year.
Yeah, it was just 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. The Foresters, they said, hey, we're going to accept anybody. So they got the top players from around the country, and no duh. Who wouldn't want to go to Santa Barbara and play collegiate baseball in the middle of a pandemic? If a team in Santa Barbara is offering you to play baseball, then you're going to accept it. And so they got a lot of great players, and that's the reason why they went to Wichita last year. They got them all because they sold the location. Who wouldn't want to live in Santa Barbara? So they go to Wichita, they win the World Series, and now they still have that high cocky mentality after winning, even though this year it's a completely different team.
The 1-2 breaking ball misses away, the count 2-2. That might be a little harsh towards Santa Barbara, but maybe not.
I don't think it's harsh at all. I think it's accurate. I think they do want that. I think the reason that they're going back to Wichita right now is because they want to win that national title again, and they feel like they have the ability to.
The 2-2 brushes back Smith. It did not catch him, but Naviak is going to go over to second. The count is now full for the second time today to Smith. So a runner in scoring position and no outs. The Oaks, they trail by 1. And yeah, right now the Foresters in the CCL, it's sort of like they have more of the Division I prospects, but they just haven't been able to put it together, and I think that speaks a lot to the culture. We see some very strong cultures, both Conejo and SLO, who I would personally say have the best 2 cultures, at least from my experience, in the CCL. As the 3-2 catches the zone, Grant Smith thought he was walking to first. He got rung up on 6 pitches, so he is sending himself back to the bench. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning to bring up Zach Gregory. But I think it speaks a lot to team camaraderie and how that can really affect the outcome of a team. And I can't speak for Arroyo Seco, but it seems like they also have a very strong team camaraderie as well. And those are really the 3 teams that have been winning the most games, where Santa Barbara, they have been losing a few close games to teams that they probably shouldn't be losing to in terms of their talent level that they actually have on the Foresters.
I definitely agree with that. I think the Foresters, they're a really good team. They just really haven't pieced it together.
First pitch to Gregory. Catches the knees on the outside part of the plate for a strike. The count 0-1.
And I remember talking to their broadcaster the first time he came here, and he just kept on saying, look at all these guys. Arizona State, Arizona, Oklahoma, all these big-time powerhouse schools, some Arkansas players in there. And, he was really flaunting that. And they have a roster of really good Division I players. They just haven't really put them all together.
The 0-1 bounces in a ball. Squirts away from Shell for a quick second, but he's able to retrieve it before Naviak is able to advance off of second base. So the count 1-1 to Zach Gregory. And I was talking with some of the Cal Lutheran guys that are on this team, Brendan Durfee, Clay Rickerman, and Austin Carrillo, and they were talking, and they said that they're probably the only 3 Division III players that are in the entire league, where normally it's JUCO guys and then Division I and Division II players, as the 1-1 misses low, the count 2-1. And they were saying how some other teams probably look at them and think, oh, this is going to be an easy game against some Division III guys, but then you look at Austin Carrillo, he's batting over 300. You look at Clay Rickerman, he's one of the leading save guys in the CCL. And you look at Brendan Durfee, and he's got some serious power. He had a 2 RBI day yesterday. So it's about the camaraderie, and it's about the feel of the team as Zach Gregory watches a pitch low and inside, so he works ahead in the count 3-1.
I mean, even look at yesterday's game. Bases clearing double for Cody Sulak. Cody Sulak, he plays at a Division III college. That's Pacific University. So just because you play D3 baseball doesn't mean you're not a good baseball player. That's the thing about baseball. You can get drafted out of high school. You can get drafted out of Division I, Division II, Division III. Any level, you can have really good ball players. That's what I've learned coming here in the CCL.
The 3-1. Moderer checks the runner at second. Back to Gregory. Swing and a miss, so the count has worked full. The third consecutive batter in this inning that has seen a full count. JT Naviak, he reached first base with a walk. Grant Smith, he struck out looking, and now Zach Gregory going to see his full count pitch. The Oaks, they still haven't recorded a hit yet on the day. And I think that's absolutely a testament to how head coach Dave Solis and the entire coaching staff of the Oaks has been able to get the best out of their players and put their players in the right position in order to succeed. As the 3-2 from Gregory misses high, and Gregory is aboard with a walk. He's reached for his second time today after a hit by pitch in the first inning.
And this is a good job by the Oaks batters. So far in this inning, 3 straight 6-pitch at bats to all their batters. And, you know, this is how you work the count. This is how you get the pitch count up against a pitcher that really cruised through the first 2 innings. I know he did give up the run in the first inning, but 15 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. And right now, with 1 out, he's already thrown 18 pitches.
Reagan Burford, he had a sacrifice bunt to move the runners over from first and second to second and third last inning. That was with no outs. Now he's to the plate with 1 out. Mata returns back to second. Naviak back in time safely without a throw. And so, talk to me for a second about what you think of the job that Coach Dave Solis and the rest of his team have been doing, and the rest of his coaching staff have been doing in order to get opportunities to the right people. As Burford swings, skies one into right field, tracking towards the line is Bologna. He's looking up at the track, at the wall, and is it a fair ball? It is not. It just missed foul, and that looked like it was going to be a 3-run home run after it cleared the fence. It carries, especially opposite way from a right-handed hitter. I thought that was going to be a fly out to right, and it just kept going and going and going, and Bologna got to the wall, looked up, and about a foot outside the foul pole was Reagan Burford from giving the Oaks a 2-run lead.
And that was a really close ball. I mean, it just kept on carrying and carrying, like you said. I thought it was gone. It was really close, maybe a foot to the right of the line. But, man, a tough play, and that was a hard-hit ball. And Burford, you could see him. He clapped his hands. He wanted that one. Is he going to get it? 0-1 the count.
Outfield shifted significantly towards the opposite way side for Burford. Burford now grounds one off his foot, so 2 strikes now in the count. He goes down 0-2, and so much shifted that you can't even see the right fielder in Bologna where he's set up, and that is very close to the corner. You just see him now coming into frame. The center fielder is standing in right center, and probably the biggest gap of the season in the left center field right now, and that's a pull side to a right-handed hitter. If Burford can just get a line drive either up the middle or in that gap, it's going to be extra bases, and the runner at first, and Zach Gregory has some speed, Naviak has some speed, and Burford could be running for a while.
It's very interesting. We saw them doing this shift yesterday with the wind blowing in the left field direction at San Luis Obispo. Here they do it to the right field.
The 0-2, off-speed pitch misses low and away. The count 1-2 to Reagan Burford.
And to go back on your question about the job that Solis has done with these guys, I think that he has done a really good job getting players from a lot of D1 schools as well as a lot of guys from JUCO and these D3 schools. He has a lot of guys from this area that have grown up playing together as well as guys from around the country. He's been able to mesh them.
As the 1-2, Burford thinks about, half checks his swing, doesn't quite commit, and then watches the pitch as it was a fastball at the ankles that missed the zone.
And he's really been able to mesh them a lot. If you look at the top of this lineup, you have Grant Smith, Zach Gregory, Reagan Burford, Brendan Bobo. Those guys are all from outside of this area. Then you look at TJ Foreman, Austin Carrillo, Raul Sandoval, Andrew Sharp. Those players in the middle of that lineup, they're all from this Conejo area. And so, really, I think that he's done a really good job getting guys not only at D1 schools like Arkansas and Ole Miss, but also keeping the guys local from Cal Lutheran, because this is Cal Lutheran's ballpark, and he gets the best of the best Cal Lutheran players, which Cal Lutheran, although they're D3, they're constantly competing for a national championship, so he's getting the best of the best.
The 3-2, Burford lines into right field. Naviak's going to come around. He's going to score. Gregory going to third, and now runners on the corners. The ball squirts away from the second baseman, but no one able to advance, and Reagan Burford comes up big. The fourth consecutive full count we've seen. The first hit of the game for the Oaks ties this game up at two apiece, as JT Naviak came around to score.
And right there, Burford goes opposite field again. This time it's not elevated off the bat. It's a grounder to right. That's exactly what he needed as the runner was in scoring position. Advances the runner Gregory over to third because of that opposite direction as it went to right field, allowing Gregory to go from first to third. And now you set yourself up with runners on the corners with your power hitter again. This is another big spot for Brendan Bobo.
Yeah, and there's still only one out in the inning. And right now the Oaks with the go-ahead run on third. Brendan Bobo, he grounded out with the RBI in the first inning. That was the first RBI of the game for the Oaks. A ground out to second base. Right here, a ground ball to second base would probably be beneficial as long as Burford's able to get to the second base bag. I would not be surprised if he stole here as Bobo fouls off a pitch, the count 0-1. And so I think that you have the right read on how Coach Steve Solis has been doing with this roster, and I think it's also impressive how he's been able to get some D3 players and some JUCO players into some really big spots. You see the outfield, it's almost exclusively of players that are at that level, as we see Brendan Bobo watch a pitch low and inside. Austin Carrillo, a D3 guy from Cal Lutheran. We also see Hunter Collin there, a Santa Barbara Community College player.
And then even Raul Sandoval and TJ Foreman, both of them, they're now going to D1 school. Sandoval going to UC Davis and Foreman going to Austin P. But both of them, they started their careers in JUCO. You had Sandoval at Oxnard, and then you had Foreman at Ventura College. So, you know, these JUCO guys, they can play as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just about, for JUCO guys, getting their opportunity. A lot of people who play at JUCO had opportunities to go play D3, D2 baseball, but turned it down because they want to go to a high-level Division I school, as Brendan Bobo watches a pitch low and inside, 2-1, and especially this year with the COVID year and the extra year of eligibility to a lot of the Division I players, a lot of these younger college guys were forced to go to JUCO in order to sort of waste some time to earn their opportunities, where these COVID people who had extra years of eligibility were coming back. So as Bobo swings and fouls off the 2-1 pitch, makes it 2-2. So you think that a lot of these guys, they would be going to Division I. We've heard a lot of these stories so far this season about guys who were committed to D1 schools, but COVID sort of interrupted that, and they were stripped of their scholarships, had to go to a lower-level school as the pickoff attempt is not in time to Burford back at first. We see a lot of these guys who are Division I talents playing at the Division II, Division III, and JUCO levels, and that just increases the talent levels throughout all of baseball, really. The 2-2, Bobo golfs one to right. This one is gone. A 3-run Bobo jack. The Oaks, they lead 5-3 as Brendan Bobo clears the bases, and that's the power hitter we like to see.
And Brendan Bobo, he's been on a cold streak, hasn't hit a home run in a while, but that one was a no-doubter. He golfed it like you said. It was a low pitch, sent it deep to right field, and man, what a play from him. And now the Oaks, they're leading by 3. What an inning. They've only had 2 hits all game, 5 runs. It doesn't matter. The Oaks, they're up by 3.
Yeah, they've only had 2 hits, and they both came back-to-back. Reagan Burford with the single. Brendan Bobo with the 3-run jumbo jack. He golfed it out of here. We've seen him with that power swing. This time he barreled it up, and he was able to go, no doubt, and that puts him in the CCL lead for home runs. He was tied for it with 4. Now I believe he has the solo lead with 5 home runs. It puts him ahead of Cole Elvis with the Prune Packers, as well as Hall with the Prune Packers as well. And there were 3 Packers with 4 home runs. Brendan Bobo now separates himself with his 5th of the year.
He's now tied for the most home runs. Jesse Lopez of the Prune Packers, he also has 5, but Bobo tied for first in the CCL, tied for first in the sitting alone in first in the CCL South. So the power hitter, that's why he's going to the showcase game. He showcased his power right there. Deep fly to right field.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to bring up TJ Foreman. First pitch to him, misses high. The count 1-0. And that's just a great way for Brendan Bobo to get back on track. We've seen him struggle a little bit in order to be effective in just base hitting, but he has always had that power swing. Foreman watches a pitch at the knees for a strike, the count 1-1. And he had a home run last week against the Foresters. Since then, he only had a few hits mixed in, but he did get on base a lot of other ways. Now we see that power swing a little over a week later come right back at Cal Lutheran as TJ Foreman bounces one to third outside of the bag. The pick made by Samuelson, but it's not going to matter as it bounced outside of the chalk. Count 1-2 to Foreman.
And right now, this is a very impressive showing for the Oaks Bats. They've scored 5 runs already, and it's not even through the third inning. They still have 2 more outs to work with here in the third. And Martyr, he's not given up many runs this season. The most runs he's ever given up in a game was 2 earned runs all season. So right now, scoring 5 runs after a guy that really doesn't give up a lot of runs is very impressive.
Now time called, the home plate umpire going to go get a loose ball. Actually, Austin Carrillo is going to go make the trek. There was a ball behind home plate, so making sure that is cleaned up. TJ Foreman behind the count, 1-2, 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning. Already 4 runs in the inning. 1 came on the RBI from Reagan Burford as TJ Foreman watches a pitch, curves outside, the count 2-2. Reagan Burford, he had an RBI single in his only at-bat yesterday. He pinch hit for Raul Sandoval in the 8th. That was to keep the inning alive and get Cody Sulak to the plate 2 batters later as Foreman bounces one, swinging bunt, and he's going to get there to first. The speed of TJ Foreman is effective for an infield single. 3 consecutive hits for the Oaks.
And that's exactly what it was. It was a swinging bunt from Foreman, and, you know, with his speed, he was always going to beat it out. It was a lot closer of a play than I thought as Mater really got there in a hurry, threw it to first. He gunned it there, but Foreman, the speed, that's the toughest out you're going to get. A slow dribbler low in the infield to a speedy guy in TJ Foreman. And now the Oaks still 1 out, and they're swinging the bat really, really hot right now.
And this has a lot of parallels to the 8th inning of yesterday's game where the Oaks, they hadn't had a hit in quite a while. Their last hit before the 8th inning came in the 3rd inning of the game against the Blues yesterday. And then they were able to get a few runners on via walks. And then Reagan Burford was able to come up big with a hit to get an RBI. And then another walk to Austin Carrillo loaded the bases. And a 3 RBI hit for Cody Sulak was able to give the Oaks the win. In this inning, they were down by 1 run coming in. Were able to get aboard with 2 walks as we see TJ Foreman get 2 picks over to him back in safely both times. So they were able to get 2 runners on with 2 walks. Reagan Burford with an RBI single. And then another 3 RBI hit for Brendan Bobo. This one, a little more power. It was still the right field as it was for Sulak. Sulak went opposite way as this pitch into Carrillo, a strike, the count 0-1 to Austin. Austin Carrillo looks to the home plate umpire, asks if it caught at the knees or caught the outside part. I believe it was at the knees. So, I believe that this inning has a lot of parallels to that 8th inning we saw yesterday. What do you think?
I mean, I can see where you're talking about. There's 4 runs in this inning, just like that 8th inning.
Ball gets away from the catcher and Shell. Foreman did not get the best jump, and Shell able to get to it quickly, so Foreman retreats back to first, the count 1-1 to Carrillo.
I mean, I think it's a lot different. I think that a 3-run home run with 1 out is a lot different than a 3-run RBI double with 2 outs for Sulak. But, you know, I see the parallels a little bit, getting on with walks, having the 3 RBI hit, having 4 runs in the inning. But the difference to me, I think, is just how early the Oaks are doing it. They're not coming – I mean, they were coming from behind entering this inning, but they were down by 2 runs entering that last inning, and they really had to get – a lot out of that 3-run run, and that was really what shifted the momentum. I don't know. I mean, like, I can kind of see where you're coming from, but I'm not 100% sold that it's the exact
Well, yesterday
parallel.
was a bigger moment. Foreman, he's going to go. The throw from Shell bounces twice. Foreman in there safely with much time to spare as Shell did not have a great throw down to second base as Mercado makes the pick to prevent it from going into the outfield. So another runner in scoring position for the Oaks in the inning.
I think it's similar, but 1 out in the third is just not the same as 2 outs in the top of the 8th with your team trailing by 2.
Well, yes, the bigger moment absolutely goes to Cody Sulak, but just in terms of the pure results of each batter, I think that it has similar components to it as the 2-1 catches the zone for a strike, the count 2-2 to Austin Carrillo. Carrillo, he grounded out off the pitcher's glove and then to Kretschmar at second to lead off the second inning. The Oaks, they've had 6 batters already see the plate in this inning. Carrillo, he is the 7th. Still 1 out in the inning. TJ Foreman on second base. Sandoval on deck, Andrew Sharp in the hole. Moderer checks the runner. Mercado backs out. Foreman gets another secondary lead. And the pitch misses. It's 3-2. Foreman got a bigger primary lead as Mercado backed out, but then did not get a strong secondary lead. So now another full count in the inning. We saw the first 4 batters see full count. Brendan Bobo, he saw a 2-2 count. TJ Foreman saw a 2-2 count. Both of those players, they got aboard with hits. And now Austin Carrillo, he sees a full count. So the pitch count for Moderer, incredibly high in this inning. The payoff pitch to Carrillo. He stays alive, fouls it off and back. And Carrillo, I think he's a little bit upset with his swing. He's doing some arm motions. He's looking at it, and I think that right there he was going to get aboard, but he wanted to protect to make sure that he was not going to go down looking. And as we mentioned, Carrillo, he battles with the pitcher. This is the second full count that we've seen from Austin Carrillo today as well. So we've seen a lot of pitches from Vaughn Moderer so far today.
It's definitely been a lot. It's only the third inning, too.
Back, TJ Foreman goes to second base as Mercado. He dove to the bag. I don't think Moderer wanted to pick off right there. He reluctantly did it. He spun significantly after Mercado broke to the bag. The pitch to Carrillo missed low and inside, so a 7-pitch walk for Austin Carrillo to continue the Oaks inning. And Austin Carrillo is on for the first time today, and this might end the day for Vaughn Moderer as the head coach for the Blues. He comes out and goes and takes the ball from Moderer. We're going to see a new pitcher in the game. The Oaks inning is still going. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. We'll be back with the pitching change and the continuation of the bottom of the third when we come back. Back here, bottom 3, the inning still going. Raul Sandoval to the plate. 2 runners on and 1 out in the inning. Sandoval, his last time up, flew out on the infield. Ruben Mercado took a few steps back into shallow center in order to make the out on Sandoval his last time up. Vaughn Moderer, his day is done. Samuel Page, the pitcher, he is coming in for his first outing that we've seen on the season for him against the Oaks. The runners are both going. It's spiked in. Both runners advancing. Foreman, he's coming home. Page not covering the bag, and TJ Foreman, aggressive base running, steals a run for the Oaks.
And now Carrillo.
Carrillo, he's headed to third. He's in there safely. I thought the play was over, and Austin Carrillo, he was able to get into third safely. So the Oaks, they were able to use incredibly aggressive base running. The game is now 6-2, and Sam Page with the first pitch from hell for this inning for him.
And right there, Carrillo, he saw the bag open at third, just like TJ Foreman saw the plate open. Nobody was covering at the plate. Foreman took off. Then Carrillo, he saw that nobody was at third, and so he took off from second to third. It's smart base running. It's smart, aggressive base running. And the Oaks right now, they're living it up. They've scored 5 runs in this inning. You can see Carrillo, he's jumping up. He's excited with a big old grin on his face.
Now the infield in to Sandoval, the 1-0, spiked again. This goes to the backstop. Carrillo's coming home, and back-to-back wild pitches from Sam Page has resulted in 2 runs for the Oaks, and the Oaks, they now lead. It is 7-2.
And that's got to be one of the worst pitches I've seen here at Sparky Anderson. That one was spiked so much that the ball bounced and got as high as us here at the booth. That one was spiked way before the plate. It got way behind the catcher Shell, and it's another easy run for the Oaks. Man, they're just living it up. I can't say enough. 6 runs in an inning, and you still have only 1 out.
Sandoval swings through the pitch and misses, the count 2-1. So Page, his third pitch of his outing is his first strike. Page has appeared in 8 games this season for the Blues, has not gone over 2 innings pitched on the year. He has 12 strikeouts as Sandoval swings and misses. It is now 2-2, so after 2 spike pitches, Page comes back with another strike. Andrew Sharp on deck, JT Naviak in the hole. Sam Page, a 2.25 ERA. And funny story about Sam Page, he went to my rival high school. I am a Pinnacle High School graduate. Sam Page went to Horizon High School, those both coming in Phoenix, Arizona as Sandoval. He fouls off a pitch, still 2-2. And actually, Sam Page, the teammate of one of my best friends in high school baseball.
Did you ever see Sam Page pitch?
I did not.
You didn't see your friend play?
I didn't. I saw him play. I did not see Sam Page pitch.
Oh. Must have been his off day.
The 2-2 again misses outside to Raul Sandoval, so another full count in the inning. This is the first one for Page. So we saw Vaughn Moderer with a full count to Naviak, Smith, Gregory, and Burford to lead off the inning. And then a full count to Carrillo to end his outing. And now a full count to Raul Sandoval. The payoff pitch, a swing and a miss. Raul Sandoval goes down swinging, and that is his 12th strikeout in the last 7 games for Raul Sandoval.
And Sandoval, he's striking out a lot. Yesterday struck out, I want to say 3 times. And, you know, it's just been a tough go swinging the bat for Sandoval. But I'll still point, his defense has been great. And I think that's why they keep on having him in the lineup. He's one of the quicker outfielders on this team. And, you know, he's been great defensively. We saw the diving play earlier. And, you know, you could say what you want about him swinging the bat. I think the hits will come eventually. He just hasn't played baseball in a long time.
Now it's going to bring up Andrew Sharp, the 9th batter that the Oaks have had to the plate this inning. He swings through the first pitch from Page, the count 0-1. And the Sandovals, they're listening to the live stream. They brought us some interesting information. Raul, as well as Brent Jocks and Daniel Cabral, all Oaks, they were all teammates growing up as well. So a little bit of more camaraderie as Sharp, he lines one outside of the bag at first. That looked like it was headed towards the line, but just curved outside of the chalk. So the count 0-2 early to Andrew Sharp.
And I think that goes back to my point. A lot of these guys local in the area, and so a lot of these guys played with each other or played against each other in high school or JUCO, and, you know, they've been able to find themselves here on the Oaks and playing all together as one team. I think it's great. It's similar to like how Miami football was really dominant back in the 90s because they recruited the Miami area. And so I think right now, Solis, really recruiting this Oxnard, Camarillo area really well, and that's how the Oaks have been so successful.
And I agree, but he's also been able to get in players from all sorts of places. We see some Northern California people as Sharp watches the 0-2 bounce in the dirt. It's 1-2. Some Northern California people. We see Anson Arrows. He comes down to Conejo. We see some people from the SEC, along with Cody Adcock, Cole Baker, Zach Gregory, Reagan Burford. They all come over, as well as Evan Gray from the South.
You also have, from the Northern California, Brendan Bobo. He's from Santa Cruz.
The 1-2 to Sharp runs away from Page, the count 2-2.
You have JT Naviak. He's from Hawaii. I mean, you're getting guys from all over, but I'm saying this core, you have a lot of local guys that have played together, and it's kind of like that youth basketball team that had all those guys that played each other from when they were 6 all the way up until high school, and they just became a dominant force. Right now, it's like baseball version of that.
The 2-2 misses outside, so after going up 0-2, Sam Page has run the count full at 3-2. Andrew Sharp struck out his last time up on 5 pitches. That was looking, trying to get a board here for the Oaks to bat around in the inning. And I completely agree, and we see it with the Cal Lutheran guys. Brendan Durfee and Austin Carrillo have played together for a long time. Sharp, a slow ground ball on the carpet to shortstop, Mercado over to first, and the inning is finally over for the Blues, but not before the Oaks. They score 6 on 3 hits from the Oaks, no one left on and no errors in the inning. Conejo leads 7-2 as Brian Perez coming back to work after a long seat. We will see how he does in the top of the 4th inning. Back here for the top of the 4th inning, Ryan Milano, Knight Uretsky. The middle 3 innings, Knight. That means it's your time for play-by-play.
Thank you, Ryan. So Brian Perez, he's still on the mound. His offense helped him out a lot. The Oaks, they scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They're now leading at 7-2 after they gave up the lead in the top of the 3rd. The Blues entered the bottom of the 3rd leading 2-1 as the first pitch is called for a strike to TJ Clarkson. Last inning for the Blues, they scored 2 runs on 2 hits. They left the runner on in Austin Shell at 3rd. As the 0-1, Clarkson rips that one to deep right field. Heading back is Foreman at the wall. That's going to bounce and then now bounce off the wall. Heading to second is Clarkson. The throw in from Foreman reaches second base as Naviak is there. A leadoff double for TJ Clarkson. And the Blues, they have a runner in scoring position.
And for Brian Perez, he had to sit for a long time in that inning. That inning for the Oaks is probably over a half hour. That's a long time to take a seat if you're Brian Perez. So after having 3 effective innings, with the 3rd inning being the one where you gave up the 2 runs, coming back after a long seat on the bench, it'll be interesting to see how Perez attacks the strike zone.
54 pitches in that bottom of the third inning to the Oaks. They are working the count remarkably.
That's more than Perez the entire game. To put that into perspective.
That's insane. The first pitch is inside to Austin Kretschmar. The count now 1-0. But yes, the Oaks in that bottom of the third inning, every batter saw at least 5 pitches, with the majority of them seeing 6 pitches. The average actually was 6 pitch per at bat because there's 2 batters that saw 5 pitches and 2 batters that saw 7 pitches. Everybody else saw 6 pitches, and they batted all the way around 9 batters. As this one's lifted to center field, Sandoval coming over. He's not going to make the play. Held up his glove to confuse Clarkson. Clarkson didn't have a read on it, so Clarkson now heads to third, and Kretschmar, he's at first with a single.
And that one is a little bit of a cheap hit right there. It was in on the hands, and Austin Kretschmar just able to muscle it into the outfield. But a well-executed pitch and not great contact that was made by Kretschmar. Sometimes those balls just end up falling in the outfield, and that one ended up falling for Kretschmar.
So now runners at the corner, nobody out. Vinny Bologna at the plate, the right fielder, as he stands in to face off against Perez for the second time today. The first pitch from Perez, this one sliced the other way, gets over the mitt of Bobo. Heading to third now is Kretschmar. Heading to second is Bologna. He's thrown out from TJ Foreman, but a runner at third, and a run comes in for the Blues. The lead is now 7-3.
And right there, we've seen it a few times this season. I don't understand why on that play, Bologna is trying to stretch it into a double. There's no outs in the inning. Your team is down after that by now 4 runs. If you put 2 runners on base with no outs, then there's some momentum going. But right now, there's just a runner on third. You get the RBI single, but you aren't able to get aboard and get a run yourself by trying to stretch a single into a double.
So 1 out, and the first pitch from Perez is in there for a strike to Nick Costello. And I agree, you could have runners on the corners with nobody out, just the situation that you had with Bologna. But instead, Bologna, he tries to stretch it for 2. The Blues, they get aggressive, and he's thrown out at second. And now you just have a runner at third with 1 out. And the momentum, it kind of starts to die down a little bit. You think the momentum's going back the other way to the Blues, and now there looks like a disagreement happening.
And right there, the pitcher, the pitching coach, I believe, is arguing that call. He's saying it's terrible to the home plate umpire. He said, that's terrible. The umpire's saying, go watch on the bus. I'm not sure if he's tossed him yet, but he's saying, go watch on the bus, and it looks like he did toss him. He's walking out of the stadium. So I believe that is pitching coach Dean Trenor for the Blues. He just got tossed.
That's insane. I've not seen a coach get tossed here in the CCL. We saw Bob Miller get tossed the day before the Oaks played yesterday, and now Bob Miller, he's talking with the home plate umpire right now.
And I would like to go back a little bit on the hit by Bologna, because I believe that was also a cheap hit where Bobo was holding on the runner at first. That was a little flare off the hands liner the opposite way from Bologna that was able to get out into the outfield, but Brendan Bobo in his normal position catches that. So I think both hits from Kretschmar and Bologna were a little bit of cheap hits, not necessarily great hits. And if you're Brian Perez, you can give those up. Cheap hits are cheap hits. You can't do anything about them. But, I mean, Dean Trenor arguing the pitch, getting tossed, and that's the second Blues coach in the last 3 games for San Luis Obispo that has been thrown out of the game.
And what a momentum shift here as the 0-1 pitch to Costello. That one misses high. 1-1, but what a momentum shift. You have runners on the corners, nobody out. Bologna, he hits an RBI single. Coming in is Clarkson. Then he's thrown out at second, and after he gets thrown out, the pitching coach, he's thrown out of the game. Swing and a miss from Costello, and the count now 1-2 with 1 out and a runner on third.
And I think that brings a lot of momentum to the Oaks side. After what it looked like, the Blues could have a big inning, potentially coming back in this game after the Oaks' big inning. A lot of momentum has now shifted back in Conejo's favor.
Costello fouls off the pitch. The count now still 1-2. The 5th pitch of the bat coming up to Costello.
And I think it's incredibly interesting for Brian Perez right here. He gets sort of a boost after allowing 3 straight hits.
Costello fouls off the 2nd straight pitch. The 1-2 will be done again. And I agree. I think Perez right now, he sets himself in a great position. He has a 1-2 count to Costello. There's 1 out. If he gets Costello out here, there's 2 outs. You still just have 1 runner on third, and even if you give him up, your team's leading by 4. So right now, the Oaks, they have a lot of momentum. The 1-2, Costello fouls it off again. 3 straight fouls off from Costello.
And so that free strike that Brian Perez got earlier that was controversial, that Dean Traynor was arguing, now is not consequential at all because we see Costello, he's fouled off a few pitches in this at-bat so far. He would have been at 2 strikes anyways.
I think the difference is it 1-2 or 2-2? And I guess Traynor disagreed, and he's now on the bus. The 1-2. That one misses high. The count even 2-2.
And what do you think Dean Traynor is doing right now? Do you think that he's going to go over to the swimming pool, going to get some laps in? Did he bring an extra pair of shorts?
I think he's really mad right now. I think he's heated. He's probably in the bus, and
well, he needs to cool down. Go in the swimming pool.
I think he's probably saying some not PG-13 words, as this one's fouled away by Costello again. 4th foul off. The count 2-2.
I mean, we heard a couple of them when he was talking to the home plate umpire. He was not happy.
And now imagine the umpire not being there. I think he's still swearing.
Well, he's no one to swear to. The umpire said, "Get out of here. I don't want to hear from you anymore."
The 2-2. Costello fouls it off again. 5 fouls off from Costello since the 2 strike.
Does that make this next pitch the 10th pitch of the at-bat?
It is the 10th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Wow. It's been a battle. It's a chess match between Brian Perez and Nick Costello. Runner on third is Kretzmar. Perez, the windup. The 2-2. Costello swings this one into shallow center field. Coming in is Carrillo. That one's going to get down. And a single for Costello on the 10th pitch of the at-bat.
And so 3 consecutive weak hits. You don't normally see with a wooden bat a lot of cheap hits for really any team. But right here, we've seen a few cheap hits in the inning for the Blues as the Kretschmar single, that was a cheap single off the hands that he was able to muscle out to center. The Bologna single would have been an out if Brendan Bobo was not holding the runner on at first. And then that Costello single, a fly ball that just landed right in between Naviak, Sandoval, and Carrillo that in any other part of the park is probably caught out. So if you're Perez, you've given up 4 straight hits, but I wouldn't really be too concerned about that. You're pitching well.
The first pitch is a strike in there to Ruben Mercado as Mercado took it. So runner on first and Nick Costello. 7-4 the score now. The Blues, they've scored 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. The Oaks, they scored 6 runs in the bottom of the third as they're now leading 7-4. Costello on first as Perez fires back. Costello in there safely. And the Oaks right now, do you have to be worried with Perez? You can see there's a little bit of action starting to happen in the Oaks bullpen. Perez right now, you keep on saying that he's been giving up weak hits. Although it's weak hits, they're still hits, 4 straight hits. Is there an area of concern?
I think that this is probably going to be Perez's final inning.
As Mercado grounds this softly to Bobo, he bobbles it, picks it up, now flips it to Perez, gets the play at first. If he fields that cleanly, I think there's a potential double play right there.
There could have been the potential double play, but it just was a tough hop for Brendan Bobo. The transition from the grass to the dirt sort of ate him up, and getting 1 out right there is really the key thing here because now there's 2 outs in the inning, and any out is going to end the inning, and that's just exactly what you need if you're Brendan Bobo. The double play would have been nice, but you just need to get at least 1. But going back to the point from earlier, I think that this is Perez's final inning, and a lot of that is going to be because of the amount of time that he sat in between his 3rd inning and this 4th inning.
So far, Perez, he's thrown 61 pitches as Costello now on second. Cermak, the first pitch he sees, he skies it deep and foul. Bobo giving chase, looks at it over the wall as it hits the netting. 0-1 the count to Cermak.
Yeah, and we've seen Brendan Bobo. We saw it yesterday when he was playing third base, and now again when he's playing first base, charged with a full head of steam on balls that are in foul territory. And I believe it was the first base umpire who actually yelled out of room because Brendan Bobo was going to crash right into that fence as well. We saw it yesterday where he almost ate it on another fence. So Brendan Bobo, with no regard for his own safety.
Quite the hustler. The 0-1. Misses inside to Cermak. The count even 1-1. Cermak today, he got on with a single last inning. He came around to score. His first time up, though, he grounded out on the third pitch he saw to JT Naviak in a big spot here with a runner on second in scoring position and his team down by 3. The pitch from Perez misses just outside. Count now 2-1.
So this is significantly, maybe not the longest inning, but Perez's pitch count after going 20 combined pitches to the first 2, it is now 20 pitches or over in both the third and the fourth inning.
Perez is set. Looks back to second and now towards the plate, the 2-1. This one's lifted in the air high to shallow center field. Coming in is Sandoval. He's under it. He makes the play, and the inning is over. So the Blues, they score 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors in the inning, 1 runner left on second, and Nick Costello. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Oaks, they're leading 7-4. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Sam Page still on the mound as the first pitch to JT Naviak is inside. 1-0 to Naviak. And Naviak last inning, he led off with a 6-pitch at bat. It ended in a walk, and he came around to score. He was the first of the 6 runs that came in that third as Page spikes another ball. It's now 2-0 to JT Naviak. That whole last inning for the Oaks, they extended counts the whole time. They had an average of 6 pitches per at-bat they saw. They had 54 pitches to 9 batters. It's quite the impressive performance hitting-wise for the Oaks as Naviak skies this one high in the air to the right side. Heading over is Clarkson and Kretschmar. Kretschmar calls everybody off. Kretschmar, the second baseman, makes the play, and Naviak's retired.
And shout out to one of my best friends and Sam Page's teammate, Jackson Smirk. He in the chat gives his scouting report to Sam Page. His words, and I quote, "Kid chucks." So Sam Page, definitely a pitcher that gets high praise from his teammates.
I think there's a little bit of bias there, but
Might be a tiny bit of
just
bias.
a little bit. But
I was talking with Zach Ibrahim, the the Blues broadcaster, and he was talking about Sam Page, and he said that Page was one of the funnier members of the team, and that some of the non-league competitors he was facing against were talking trash, and he came the very next day and brought up the SoundCloud page of the SoundCloud rapper on one of the other teams and put it as his walk-up song.
This one's grounded foul, so the count now 1-1 to Grant Smith. I think that's kind of funny. I mean,
I think it's hilarious.
I mean, it wasn't great, I remember. That's what he said.
I heard the music wasn't great.
The music wasn't great. That's what I meant. But I think the gesture, I think that's hilarious. So 1-1 the count to Grant Smith. 1 out, nobody on. Sam Page on the mound as the pitch to Smith catches at the knees. Page gets ahead now 1-2. Smith, his last time up, was in that third inning. He was the second batter to face off. He was going up against Moderer at that time. He had a 6-pitch at bat, but he looked at the last pitch he saw. It was called for a strike, and he was sent down. Ball bounces in the dirt. Count now even 2-2. Smith, he thought he was heading to first on a walk. He did not. He was sent down looking, and then he headed back to the dugout. He was the first of the 3 outs in the inning for the Oaks. Prior to that, he did walk in the first, and he came around to score. He was the first run of the game, regardless of any team. But he strikes out swinging here, and 2 up, 2 down from Sam Page. That's his second strikeout of the game.
Yeah, and Grant Smith, in his last 4 games, he's gotten on multiple times in each of them. So right here, he has just the walk in the first. He's seen 2 deeper counts in the third and the fourth, but he's both gone down swinging. If he wants to continue that streak, he has to continue to see pitches well, but he can't go down via the strikeout like he had in the last 2 at-bats.
So 2 gone, and coming up to the plate, Zach Gregory, nobody on in the inning. Naviak a ground out to second, and Grant Smith a strikeout. The first pitch to Gregory, it bounces in the dirt, and to the backstop as Shell couldn't corral it. It's 1-0 to Gregory. Gregory, he's gotten on twice. He scored in the last inning. Last inning, he had a 6-pitch at bat. He came around to score. He walked in that inning. Prior to that, he saw the first pitch in the first, and it hit him. That hit him on the right knee, as now you can see Reagan Burford go and pick up the ball that was behind the plate. They
actually can't see, just slightly out of frame. We can see it.
We can see. So 1-0 the count to Zach Gregory. 2 outs. The pitch. Gregory skies this one high in the air in the infield. Coming over is Mercado and Samuelson. Samuelson calls everybody off. He makes the play, and the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for Sam Page, and we head to the top of the 5th inning. The Oaks, they're leading 7-4. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here at George Sparky Anderson Field at the campus of Cal Lutheran University. The Conejo Oaks, they're leading 7-4 here in the top of the 5th inning. The Oaks, they didn't score any runs in the 4th, but they gave up 2 runs as the Blues cut the deficit from 7-2 to 7-4, and that's why we're here. Brian Perez still on the mound. The first pitch to Mason Grotto misses high and inside. 1-0 to Grotto. And Grotto, today, he's had a tough go. Had a fly out to the left fielder on the first pitch he saw in the first, but he had an RBI ground out the last time he was up. That was in the third as the 1-0 catches the zone on the outside part of the plate. The count even 1-1. And Grotto, he's somebody that's a strong hitter in this league. Like you said, 100 at-bats, 41 hits for Grotto, as he now sends this one high in the air to center field. Going back as Sandoval, he shifts his shoulders, spins around, and makes the play in center field.
Yeah, and that was a very good play by Raul Sandoval. The hardest play as a center fielder, as any outfielder, is a ball that's hit directly behind you. So Sandoval, he turned over his right shoulder, then had to switch directions, and was able to make the catch.
So Grotto sent down on the third pitch he saw. Brian Perez still working. It's the fifth inning of work right now. So he's so far pitched 4 1/3. You can see Will Kokiar. He's pitching in the Oaks bullpen. As the first pitch to Shell, that one's grounded foul down the third base line. Grant Smith fields it, but in foul territory. 0-1 to Shell. Shell today, a fly out to the second baseman in the first. That ended a 1-2-3 inning for Perez. But in the third inning, he had a RBI double. And that was his last time up for the third time today. The 0-1, check swing, he got him to go. And now the count 0-2 as Perez gets ahead. That was the 70th pitch of the game for Perez. 0-2 the count. The windup, the pitch from Perez. Swing and a miss from Shell. 3 straight strikes to Shell. And Perez, that's his first strikeout of the day.
And so Perez, I was surprised that he came back on the mound for this fifth inning, but it seems like he's really started to find a groove. He came in, get a 3-pitch out to start, now a 3-pitch strikeout for his first strikeout of the day. He's retired 4 consecutive batters in a row. It looks like he's starting to find his rhythm after giving up 2 runs in the last 2 innings.
First pitch to Tate Samuelson misses low and outside, 1-0, and that was only the 6th strikeout of the season for Austin Shell, so an impressive feat on 3 straight strikes to him. As the 1-0 to Samuelson, this one's grounded foul down the third base line. The count even 1-1. Samuelson today, he's 0 for 2. Had a ground out to the second baseman. That was in the second to the first pitch he saw. Then in the third inning, he saw 4 pitches in which he flew out to the right fielder, T.J. Foreman. Perez nods the windup, the pitch. This one sent to center field. Hard hit ball. Sandoval giving chase. Dives, can't get that one. Heading to second now is Samuelson. Sandoval picks it up. He's going to stop at second is Samuelson as the throw goes over the head of the cutoff man, Naviak. And into second is Samuelson with a 2-out double.
And that ball was driven by Tate Samuelson. He's been barreling up the ball all season long. That's why he's headed to the showcase game. And right there into left center field, it's one of the harder hit balls we've seen to the left side of the field yet. And Raul Sandoval, he tried to go full extension to go and get it just outside of his reach. But a good play by Sandoval after he missed on the dive, popped up quickly and was able to prevent Samuelson from getting an extra bag. Because Samuelson, he was getting 2 no matter what.
So now up to the plate, Trey Clarkson, TJ Clarkson, because his dad's is also named Trey. So TJ Clarkson at the plate. The young hitter from Utah as he grounds one to the second baseman, Gregory, the throw over to first, and Clarkson's retired on the first pitch he saw to him. So just the 1 hit in the inning for the Blues. That was Tate Samuelson as he's left stranded on second base, and that'll do it for the top of the 5th. The Oaks, they head to the bottom of the 5th, leading 7-4. You are listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Night Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Bottom of the fifth inning, we're halfway through, and the Oaks, they're leading 7-4 here in this key game in the CCL South standings. The San Luis Obispo Blues, they're in first place, facing off against the Oaks. The Oaks right now, they're tied for second place with the Santa Barbara Foresters, so a crucial game right now in the CCL South. First pitch to Reagan Burford in this inning, misses. It's 1-0. Sam Page, he's still on the mound for the Blues. He's been impressive besides the first two pitches he threw, which he spiked in the dirt, allowing 2 runs to come in TJ Foreman and Austin Carrillo. But since then, he's been solid, as Burford is now hit by a pitch, and I jinxed him.
Yeah, and I think that Sam Page, he's been effective in getting outs, but he hasn't been effective in throwing strikes so far in the day. He had the long at-bats to really everyone that he's faced, and he's fallen behind in every at-bat besides the one that he had to Grant Smith. Full count, 7 pitches, which ended up in a strikeout to Raul Sandoval, where he spiked 2 pitches, which allowed for the 2 runs to come in. Then Andrew Sharp, he had a 6-pitch at-bat where he threw 3 balls to him. He got down 2-0 to JT Naviak, got 2 balls to Grant Smith, threw the first ball to Zach Gregory, now hit the batter.
This one gets in the dirt, gets past Shell, heading over to second now is Burford, and now a runner in scoring position for Brendan Bobo with a 1-0 count.
And that's been the problem for Sam Page. It's been pitch location. So falling behind in counts is not what you want to do in the CCL, and he's been effective after falling behind to bounce back and get outs. But throughout the day and throughout the first 6 batters that he's faced, he's fallen behind, and now the 7th batter is continuing to fall behind in counts.
And now Brendan Bobo comes up for the third time, the second time after that, or first time after that monstrous jack. I don't know what I was trying to say, but pitch is outside 2-0, but a monstrous jack for Bobo. It was golfed to right field. It went halfway up the netting. It was just probably the hardest hit ball I've seen all season here.
Yeah, and it was crushed. We've seen a few crushed balls from Brendan Bobo, but that one was crushed. And we saw him in batting practice. He was incredibly effective in driving the ball. We've seen that from him all season. He puts on a show in batting practice every day. And sometimes it translates to the field, sometimes it doesn't. And today, it translated in a big way.
The 2-0 to Bobo. That one misses inside. Almost got him. Had to move out of the way. Move the hips a little bit. 3-0 to Bobo.
And so Brendan Bobo now, I'm not sure if Sam Page is missing his spots or if he's just a little bit scared to pitch to Bobo after he golfed the last one out. But Bobo has seen a few balls and gotten ahead in a few counts so far today.
Is action in the bullpen of the Blues as the 3-0 misses, and Bobo a 4-pitch walk, and 2 runners are on with nobody out to start the bottom of the 5th.
And so another good at-bat for Brendan Bobo. He's getting back on track today, and while he wasn't hitting the ball spectacularly coming into today, he was still getting on base in quite a few games in a row. He got on base the game before this one. Yesterday, he got on base the game before that. He struggled against the Riptide, as everyone did for the Oaks, but he's been getting on any way possible. Throughout the last few days, he's gone, I believe, 7 for his last 8 games. He's gotten on board at least once. So despite the low batting average, he is still working his way to first base.
Page, he now steps off the mound. Didn't throw to second, although Burford retreated back. You can see the second baseman, Kretzmar, he headed over to second to cover. Nobody went. No throw was made. And now Page, he's set to face off against TJ Foreman with 2 runners on and nobody out. As Foreman now, he's going to bunt up the first base line. Page fields it, now flips it over to the first baseman, Clarkson. And the runners advance, and that was exactly what TJ Foreman was set to do. Yeah,
and that's the exact same spot that we saw with runners on first and second in the first inning, where Reagan Burford, he's just trying to advance the runners, and he did successfully. Now TJ Foreman has the job in order to bunt, and he does his job, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. Do your job. Foreman, he can reach base off of bunts. We saw it essentially in the third inning where he had a swinging bunt that got him aboard. And so in this inning, puts one down. His main objective is to advance the runners, but he also is trying to get on base, and he advanced the runners. He did his job. He wasn't able to get himself on, but now 2 runners in scoring position. It's where the Oaks want to be.
So Sam Page on the mound, 2 runners on. Brendan Bobo, he's at second base. Reagan Burford, he's at third. Austin Carrillo, he's up to the plate. And the first pitch to Carrillo, that one catches for a strike. Carrillo looked at it, 0-1 to him. Carrillo, he had a battle his last time up, saw 7 pitches, fouled off a couple, but ended up walking. He came around to score. He was the last of the 6 runs to score in the third. Prior to that, he had a 6-pitch at bat in the second, which ended to a ground out to the second baseman, Kretzmar, but in a big spot here. Pitch to Carrillo, inside, the count even 1-1.
And Austin Carrillo has been seeing deep counts all day. He's seen full counts both times he's been up, and he's been battling with pitchers. His last 3 at-bats, dating all the way back to yesterday, have been full counts, and effective battles in all of them. He hasn't gotten a hit, but he did put the bat on the ball to lead off the second inning here after a full count, after making Von Moderer work.
Pitch to Carrillo. This one's grounded foul down the first base side.
Then he made Moderer work his last time up with a 7-pitch walk. And then in the biggest spot where he came on with runners on first and second yesterday with a chance to drive in a few, he was able to work a full count walk again, which loaded the bases for Cody Sulak to have his big hit yesterday. So Austin Carrillo has just been continuing to have great at-bats, not go down after going down in the count with 2 strikes, and he's going to have to do the same here.
1-2 the count, the pitch. That one bounces in the dirt. Now the count even, 2-2 to Carrillo. And you mentioned it, Carrillo, he just finds a way to get on. He's batting .308 on the year with the Oaks. He has an on-base percentage of .426, so gets on as much as he can. He has 12 hits on the season, 7 walks, and 39 at-bats. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss from Carrillo, and he's sent down swinging. That's only his 4th strikeout of the year.
And that was just good pitch selection by Sam Page. He had gone fastball, fastball, fastball to Carrillo, and then he threw a changeup on the outside part of the plate, and Carrillo was just way too far out in front. And it's just a well-executed pitch, and a big spot for it, too, by Sam Page with runners on second and third. But last time there were runners on base, there were 2 to Raul Sandoval, and Page spiked the first 2 pitches, and 2 runners scored. Right here, he's trying to do something different.
First pitch to Sandoval misses high. It's 1-0 to Sandoval, and you mentioned the 2 pitches that Sandoval saw that spiked. Those came in, and 2 runs came in, like you said. But after that, he struck out swinging on the 7th pitch that he saw. Had a diving play earlier in the game that he caught, and a diving play that he missed in the last inning, as the second pitch to Sandoval is in there for a strike. The count even 1-1. The diving play, though, last inning, that was in the top of the 5th. That didn't haunt him as Samuelson was left stranded at second. But Sandoval in a big spot here with a 1-1 count, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Oaks, they're leading by 3, but looking to extend the lead. The pitch to Sandoval is outside, and now the count is 2-1 to Raul Sandoval.
And we see a new bat from Raul Sandoval today. He, as we mentioned a little bit, has had a little bit of trouble in terms of striking out. Struck out 12 times in his last 7 games, and he's bringing a new bat to the table. Normally we see him with a beige, tan bat. Now he's bringing a red, maroon bat to the plate.
The 2-1. That one misses outside from Page, and now a 3-1 count to Raul Sandoval with a chance to walk, the bases loaded.
And I'm not sure if that's because he broke his bat or whether he's superstition trying out a new bat, but he is bringing new wood to the plate right here, and he's trying to get aboard for the first time today.
Andrew Sharp on deck, if need be, with 2 outs. The 3-1 pitch, that one misses high. Sandoval goes to first, the bases are loaded, and Andrew Sharp will come up to the plate.
And so we saw a similar at-bat from Sandoval right there as we saw from Austin Carrillo yesterday. Obviously not as big of a spot as it was in the 8th inning yesterday, but with 2 runners on, runners in scoring position, working a good count, able to get aboard, and now we see a pitching change as head coach Bob Miller is going to take the ball out of the hands of Sam Page. And I think that Sandoval just a good at-bat there, and it's all up to Andrew Sharp now.
So, bases loaded, 2 outs, a pitching change happening for the Blues. We're going to step aside and find out who that pitcher is right after this break. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Matt Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you here in not San Luis Obispo as the Oaks. They're playing San Luis Obispo. Cade Walker, the new man on the mound for the Blues. He's set off to face off against Andrew Sharp as Andrew Sharp comes up with the bases loaded. As the first pitch to him is in there for a strike. It's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. The first lefty we've seen today from the Blues. And now an 0-1 count to Andrew Sharp as Sharp comes in 0 for 2.
And that pitch was a well-executed breaking ball. It ran in on Sharp and then dropped over the plate.
That one not well executed as the breaking ball went a little bit too wide outside the plate. The count even 1-1. Walker this season, he's appeared in 5 games. He has a 9.64 ERA. He's given up 2 runs in 2 games, 1 run in 1 game, and no runs in 2 games. As the pitch is outside to Sharp. Now 2-1 the count to Andrew Sharp. Walker, his last appearance was 3 days ago against the Foresters. He pitched in 1 inning and gave up 2 earned runs on 1 hit and a walk. Did have 1 strikeout, though. The 2-1, that one's grounded up the first base line. That's fair. Sharp, he's going to have a double. Coming in to score is Burford. Now around is Bobo. Tapping on third and heading in to score is Sandoval. The throw not going to be in time. A bases clearing double for Andrew Sharp. And the Oaks, they extend the lead. It's 10-4.
And I know I've drawn a lot of comparisons to last night's game, but that is incredibly similar to the Cody Sulak double from last night's game. Obviously a different spot, but right down the right field line, it was grounded. It bounced on a weird hop over the first baseman's head, who Clarkson was diving to try to make the stop, and then the transition from the grass to the dirt popped the ball up over his glove. But a bases clearing double with 2 outs right after the batter before got a walk to load the bases. I think it's eerily similar.
That one was pretty similar, as now there's going to be a pinch runner. Caden Suji, he's going to pinch run now for Andrew Sharp. Sharp, a big smile as he heads back to the dugout. And now to the plate, JT Naviak, runner on second, 2 outs, but what a clutch hit from Andrew Sharp. First pitch to Naviak. This one's grounded up the middle. Coming over is Kretschmar. He picks it up, throws over to first, and the inning is over. So the Oaks, they score 3 runs on just the 1 hit from Andrew Sharp. Sharp, he got pinch ran for Suji. Suji was left on second, and that will do it for the 5th inning. So the Oaks, they extend the lead. The lead's now 10-4. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Top of the 6th inning, the Oaks, they just extended the lead on the bases-clearing double by Andrew Sharp. The score now 10-4 here in the 6th, and a new pitcher on the mound for the Oaks. It's Will Kokiar. Final stat line for Brian Perez, 5 innings pitched, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, gave up 8 hits and 4 earned runs. But his offense, they helped him out a lot as they're leading by 6 here in the 6th. Austin Kretzmar, he's at the plate. The first pitch to him misses low and in the dirt, 1-0. Andrew Sharp, who got pinch ran by Caden Suji. Suji, he's now behind the dish. He's going to be catching for Kokiar. Saw Suji catch yesterday for the Oaks as the second pitch is high. It's now 2-0 to Kretzmar.
And that's been the problem for Kokiar all season. It'll be interesting for him in this performance of leaving pitches too far elevated above the zone. He's a tall guy with a big frame, and sometimes he just doesn't finish all the way through his pitches. Right here, we've seen 2 fastballs elevated.
The 2-0. That's a fastball in there for a strike. 2-1 the count to Kretzmar now. And Kokiar, on the season, he has a 6.42 ERA in 5 games pitched. His last time he pitched, it was against the Riptide. Gave 1 hit and 1 inning pitched, no earned runs. The 2-1, this one's lifted shallow right field. Charging in is Foreman. His hat flies off, but he still makes the play with the sunglasses. And now 1 is gone.
The sunglasses did not make the play. Foreman made the play with his glove.
Yes, but the hat flew off.
Uses the sunglasses to shield the sun.
Yes,
I see.
see?
Did you give Perez his final line?
I did give Perez his final line.
I think it was a fantastic outing for Perez.
I think it was, too. I think Perez, although he gave up 4 runs, he had a really good first initial innings. His first 2, he only had 20 pitches. He had a 1-2-3 inning to start the game in the first. I think he was pretty solid today. Swing and a miss by Vinny Bologna. 0-1 to him to start from Kokiar. So Bologna, today, he had a single in the 4th. He was later out after he tried to extend the single to a double. He was thrown out. Really was a shifter of momentum in that game because right afterwards, the pitching coach for the Blues, he was thrown out of the game as the second pitch to Bologna misses high and inside, 1-1. Since that point, the Oaks, they've outscored the Blues 3-0. But Bologna, it was a momentum shifter, tried to go for 2, was thrown out. Probably wishes he stayed at first. Ball is inside, 2-1 the count now to Bologna.
And so for Kokiar, he's had 7 innings pitched, 5 walks. It's a pretty high walk total in terms of his innings. But he also has had 10 strikeouts. So he is an either walk or heavy strikeout pitcher. It's the location that needs to dial in.
Swing and a miss from Bologna. Count even 2-2. And yeah, like you said, a lot of strikeouts. His last time he pitched, we mentioned the 1 hit given up in the 1 inning. He had 3 strikeouts in that inning to 5 batters he faced. So all 3 outs in that 1 inning performance, all strikeouts. The 2-2. That one trails outside, and the count is full to Vinny Bologna.
And I want to talk about the right time for the Oaks to be getting hot, and it is right now. They're getting hot, headed into the All-Star break. And this is a big-time jump in the standings for them from the start of the week to where they are now, because at the start of the week, they were down in the standings. They were sitting tied for 4th in 5th place in terms of total wins and winning percentage. They've gone so far 3-1 this week. They're up 10-4 against the Blues. I think that this has been a significant turnaround.
Swing and a miss from Bologna, the first strikeout of the day for Kokiar, and 2 are down here in the 6th. And yes, it is a great time for the Oaks to get hot. They entered the week not hot. Yes, last week they went 2-4 overall in the 6 games. This week they started out with a win against the Barons, and they lost 9-0 to the Riptide, which was probably their worst loss of the season. Came back, beat the Barons on Thursday, then a win against the Blues on Friday, and here they're leading the Blues by 6 in the 6th. The first pitch misses outside to Costello, 1-0.
And they went 2-4 last week, but they went 1-4 in CCL South play. So to go from 1-4 last week to, if this score holds, 4-1 this week, I think is a significant turnaround for Conejo in their hopes to get to Lincoln for the playoffs in CCL.
2-0 the count to Costello now, and yeah, it's been a very good week for the Oaks so far. Last week they had a lot of close losses. They had a one-run loss to the Blues in a game that they led last Friday. Then they had a one-run loss to the Blues in a game they led on Sunday. As the 2-0 misses, it's now 3-0 to Costello. So the Oaks, they were in games, they were winning some games, and then they ended up blowing it towards the end of the game. But now this week, they've been able to solidify it so far. The 3-0, that one misses high, and a 4-pitch walk to Nick Costello.
And so we talked about the results for Kokiar. He's a high-volume strikeout pitcher, but also a high-volume walk pitcher. So after he gets his first strikeout, it's only fitting that he gets his first walk. And 2-out walks, if you talk to pitching coach Scott Rudinsky, are always killers. It always seems, at least to him, that 2-out walks are the ones that come to bite you the most.
So runner on first, Ruben Mercado, the 9-hole hitter, the shortstop, he's up at the plate as there's 2 outs. And the first pitch to Mercado, right down the middle of the plate, a fastball called for a strike, 0-1. Mercado today, 2 at-bats, 2 similar results in back-to-back innings. In the 3rd and 4th inning, he both grounded out to the shortstop, JT Naviak, now up for the 3rd time. The 0-1 pitch, that one misses high and inside. The count now even 1-1 to Mercado, and Costello, who's on first, he's had probably the best day for anyone on the Blues. He's reached base 3 times. He was left stranded on 3rd, left stranded on 2nd and the 4th, and now has a chance to be left stranded on 1st here to complete the trifecta as Mercado, he fouls that one down the 3rd base line. 1-2 the count to Mercado. But Costello, he had a 10-pitch at bat in the 4th inning. That was a battle against Perez. He ended up winning it with a bloop single to center field. But he's on for the 3rd time today. Mercado at the plate, he's 0 for 2. Kokiar looks back at first. Now he's set. The 1-2 pitch to Mercado. Curveball outside. Try to get him to chase. Ran a little bit too far outside the plate. Count even 2-2.
And it missed, but it was well executed. And I think it is also worth noting that it is no longer Andrew Sharp behind the dish. Caden Suchi pinch ran for him last inning. He is now the catcher in the game.
Mentioned that at the beginning of the inning as now Costello, he leads off as this one's fouled away by Mercado.
And apologies, I don't know who I was listening to in the beginning of the inning, but it clearly wasn't you because I didn't remember you giving the final line for Brian Perez, didn't remember you saying Suchi was in the game. You know, it happens. It's a long game. It's a long season. Sometimes I just, you know, we talk to each other so much. I just tone you out a little bit.
Yeah, I get it. You know, you were so wired coming into this inning, and now it just seems like you've completely trailed off, Ryan.
No, I'm still energetic. I'm still locked in. Just not to you.
Got to be a little bit more energetic, Des. We're in the 6th inning, meaning that I still have 1 1/3 inning of play-by-play to go, and then after that, it's going to be all yours. Got to be energetic for that. As Costello goes, the pitch high. Suji has no play because of the high pitch. The count is full to Mercado, and Costello steals second base.
So now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. The Blues, they move a runner into a spot where he's going to be effective. And now it's a big leverage situation for Kokiar here. I mean, a walk, first base is now open, so it doesn't advance the runner. But full count if Mercado puts this ball in play, a single to the outfield is probably going to score Costello.
The payoff pitch. Got him to check swing. No, he did not. Heading over to first is Mercado. Pass ball. And heading to third is Costello. It's a close play. No matter what, Mercado was going to head to first, whether it be a strikeout or a walk. That time it was a walk. And now runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Ryan Cermak, the leadoff man, coming up. It's a 7-pitch at bat to Ruben Mercado, his first time reaching base today, and it extends the 2-out rally for the Blues.
And so on the website for the Oaks, it took a while to get the full standings because there were some complications in entering the game on Point Streak, which is the system we use here at Conejo for the Oaks in terms of final games. So now the updated standings are correct. The Oaks correctly listed in the standings at 7 and 6. Shout out to Jose, our Point Streak statistician, who is keeping track of all the games downstairs. He did ask for a shout-out, though, so I think that takes a few points away from him.
Ooh, he did ask for a shout-out?
He did say LOL at the end of the text, but he did also ask for it. Not sure how I feel about that.
I do like Jose a lot. He's a really nice guy.
Oh, I love Jose. I probably would have shouted him out anyways. But, asking for the shout-out, it's not a great look.
Shout out to Jose, though. He's a veteran, now coaching baseball. Thank you for your service, Jose, as we have runners on the corners. Costello at third. Mercado, he's at first. 2-0 the count to Ryan Cermak. The pitch from Kokiar. This one's grounded in the infield shallow. Grant Smith coming in, throws over to first. The play not going to be in time as Cermak gets an infield single that results in an RBI as a run comes in, and 3 straight batters have reached for the Blues with 2 outs.
And that's just a perfectly placed swinging bunt. You can't really do anything about that if you're Grant Smith. You can't do anything about that if you're Brendan Bobo or Will Kokiar. There's no way you get off the hill fast enough in order to stop that ball. So a run was going to score on that play no matter what. Soft contact. There's been a few weak hits, more weak hits for the Blues in this game than I think I've seen all season long for any team. But weak hits are still hits, and they've been able to score runs off of it. But if you're the Oaks, you just got to put it in the back pocket and forget about it because you're still winning this game by 5 runs, and those plays really don't matter in the grand scheme of things as long as you're able to hold on to this lead and not let him snowball out of hand.
The first pitch from Kokiar is going to be high for a ball to Mason Grotto, 1-0. And Grotto, who's consistently one of the best hitters in the CCL, if not the best hitter in the CCL South, he's 0 for 3 today with a flyout, a ground out. That ground out did have an RBI in the 3rd, and then a flyout in the 5th. Now has a 1-0 count as the pitch misses low, and now it's 2-0. And Kokiar, he's having a lot of pitch location trouble. He walked 2 batters after getting the first 2 outs, and then had 2 balls to Cermak before the swinging bunt.
And look at the hit department for the Oaks and the Blues. That's drastic difference.
The pitch from Kokiar. Grotto fouls it away, 2-1. And yeah, 10 runs for the Oaks, only 4 hits in the game. For the Blues, they have 10 hits in the game, only 5 runs, so the complete opposite story. The Oaks, they've been more efficient.
And I mean, it helps when you're going to have 2 hits that both have 3 RBIs, the home run by Brendan Bobo and the bases clearing double by Andrew Sharp.
This one's lifted to center field by Grotto. Going back is Sandoval. He makes the catch right before the warning track, and that'll do it for the top of the 6th inning. So 1 run comes in on 1 hit, 2 runners left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Oaks, they're leading by 5. It's 10-5. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Knight Uretsky, Ryan Milano with you. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Oaks, they're leading 10-5. They scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning and 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. But the Blues, they answered back with 1 run in the top of the 6th. Now up to the plate, Grant Smith, as the first pitch he sees from Cade Walker is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count to Grant Smith. Smith today, he has 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging and 1 looking. As he fouls off the 0-1, he goes behind 0-2. His first time up, though, he did walk and come around to score for the first run of the game. But since then, back-to-back strikeouts for one of the hottest hitters in the CCL. So, 0-2 the count. Cade Walker, he came in as the pitch is high and inside on a curveball to Smith, 1-2. He came in for Sam Page after Sam Page pitched 2 1/3. Faced 10 batters, had 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. Did let 2 runs come in on a spiked pitch, both spiked pitches, as the 1-2 is inside to Smith. The count's even 2-2 after Smith fell behind 0-2. Don't know if those 2 runs are counted towards Page's name because of the wild pitches, or if they're counted towards Motter's line because he let the runners on as the pitch is outside to Smith. Full count. So after starting 0-2, Grant Smith gets a full count to Cade Walker.
And I think they're just both unearned runs for both pitchers. I don't think either really gets credited as an earned run for either.
Smith rips one down the left field line, just foul though. It's the 6th pitch of this at bat, 7th pitch coming up to Grant Smith.
And so just look at Grant Smith's pitch mix and pitch chart and the amount of pitches that he's seen. Game by game by game, he's been continuing to go deeper, especially as the leadoff hitter. Right here, he's seeing another large count.
Strikes out swinging, though, his 3rd strikeout of the game. And Walker, his first strikeout.
And I know that Grant Smith struck out 3 times today. And it hasn't been as good of a day for Grant Smith as we've seen from him since he's come to the leadoff spot. But I still don't think this is a bad day whatsoever for Grant Smith. He scored the first run of the game for the Oaks, and he's seeing counts incredibly deep. He's averaging 6 pitches per count, and we've seen that from him throughout the entirety of the time that he has been the leadoff hitter.
First pitch hits Zach Gregory, his second hit by pitch on the first pitch he saw. He was hit by a pitch on the first pitch he saw in the first, and now he reaches first base on another hit by pitch.
Yeah, Zach Gregory, he's been doing a great job all season of seeing pitches, and he saw 2 of them hit him today.
Gregory, he's 0 for 1 on the day, but he's reached base 3 times. 2 hit by pitches and 1 walk. That walk was in the 3rd. His 1 0 for 1 performance was in the 4th inning, and that was a fly out to the 3rd baseman on the 2nd pitch he saw. But now he's at first. Only 1 out for the Oaks in the bottom of the 6th inning. Reagan Burford at the plate, and this is the first pitch to him is inside, and it's 1-0 to Reagan Burford.
And Burford, he has an outside shot for player of the game today. I would not say he's the leader in the clubhouse. I'm almost certain that that man is on deck with Brendan Bobo and the 3-run home run that he had in this game.
The 1-0 to Burford misses inside, and 2-0 the count to Burford. But yes, Burford, he had a sac bunt in the first. That advanced the runners to 2nd and 3rd. That ended up bringing in a RBI to Brendan Bobo as he grounded out to the 2nd baseman, bringing in Grant Smith. So that sac bunt really set up that RBI as Burford now hits one to the 3rd baseman Samuelson, who goes to the 2nd baseman Kretzmar over to 1st, and a double play for Reagan Burford ends the inning. So maybe not player of the game worthy,
yeah,
but
I think that takes him out of the conversation.
But a 1-2-3 inning in an unconventional way for Cade Walker, and we head to the 7th inning with the Oaks leading 10-5. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Knight Uretsky with Ryan Milano. Ryan, it's the 7th inning. That means it is your chance for play-by-play.
Cole Baker, he's taking over for Will Kokiar. Kokiar just 1 inning pitched, had 1 hit, 2 walks, allowed 1 run in that inning. That was in the top of the 6th. Also struck out a batter. Baker, he's appeared in 3 games for the Oaks on the season. He's facing off against Austin Shell to lead off the 7th inning. First pitch, catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. The count 0-1. And so Baker on the season, a .426 ERA through 6 innings pitched. He has had 10 strikeouts, so he has been effective via the punch-out. The 0-1 misses the zone low. Suji doesn't try to frame that one. It was too far below the zone, so the count is 1-1. Shell, he doubled in the 3rd inning. That was an RBI double, but struck out his last time up, and his first time up flew out on the infield. The 1-1, Baker misses the zone low again, so 2-1 the count, and it's a difference between Cole Baker and Will Kokiar, where Kokiar misses, generally it is above the zone, and then when Baker misses, it's generally trying to paint the knees too much. So, 2-1 the count to Austin Shell. The 2-1 pitch, grounded to Gregory, right back up the middle, but the shaded defense from the Oaks results in and out to start off the inning. That looked like it was a hard hit ball right back up the middle, got past the glove of Baker, but Gregory able to stab it.
And that one was a rocket right off the bat of Shell, and the placement of the defense was perfect. As Gregory, he was right in the right spot, just had to shift his hips a little bit, fielded on the backhand. Throw over to first was in time for Shell, who's not the fastest runner, but a great way to start for Baker to get 1 out here in this performance.
Tate Samuelson, he comes to the dish for the 4th time today, watches a pitch, drop into the zone for a strike. The count is 0-1. Last time up, Samuelson, he ripped a double over the head of Sandoval in dead center field, slightly to left center. His first 2 times up, flew out and grounded out, once to right, and the ground out was to second base. The 0-1 lifted into center field. Sandoval this time comfortably underneath it, makes the play, and 2 outs in the inning.
And Baker right now, it looks like a new delivery for him. The last couple of times we've seen him, he's had this quick, or not quick delivery. Right now it's a lot more quicker, but he really held up that left leg a long time before firing towards the dish. Now he's wasting a little bit less time and just going straight at the dish. And I think this new adjustment is something that he's been working on. The last 2 performances hasn't been as good as that first time we saw him, and right now it's been effective with 2 outs.
TJ Clarkson to the plate. He's reached base twice and gets clipped on the elbow and goes over to first. So the first pitch from Baker ran too far inside, and that will get a 2-out base runner on.
That one just hit Clarkson right on the elbow, like you said, and it's an unfortunate break for Baker, but you got to hold yourself high. There's 2 outs. You just let a runner on. You can't let this be a momentum shifter for the Blues. We saw it in the 6th inning. They got a runner on with 2 outs, and they were able to bring across a run. And right now it's a 5-run game, so you got to solidify this, get the out, and get out of the inning if you're Baker.
Austin Kretschmar has not had enough games in order to solidify himself as a showcase member for the Blues. First pitch to him, breaking ball that dives outside. Suji does a good job to stab it before it goes to the backstop, so it just results in a ball to count 1-0. And Kretschmar, if he would have been with the team for longer, I would presume that he would have the stats in order to get him to the showcase game. That same notion goes for Vince Martinez, another Stanford man that isn't in the lineup today, but has shown a lot of success in an early going for the Blues this season, as Kretschmar is brushed back by the 1-0 pitch to make it 2-0.
And I think that they're okay with that. I think I would way rather be with my college team at the College World Series than be here all summer, not in the College World Series, and make the showcase game.
So the 2-0 from Baker to Kretschmar. Looks at it, in at the knees on the inside part of the plate for a strike. The count is 2-1. And the showcase members for the Blues, in the field it's Mason Grotto. That's absolutely no surprise. Austin Shell is listed as a catcher. Grotto is a first baseman. And then in the field as well, Tate Samuelson, the man who got flown out as this one fouled back. Caden Suji underneath it makes the play, and the inning is over. I thought we had a chance for that one. Didn't quite come over the screen. So 4 batters faced, 3 outs for Cole Baker, no strikeouts, and the 7th inning is retired. We will head to the bottom of the 7th inning. You're listening on the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV.
Knight Uretsky here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Brendan Bobo, he's going to lead things off. Ryan Milano will be here in just a second as Milano puts on the headset, and we're all set.
First pitch to Brendan Bobo, breaking ball, catches the zone. First strike, the count 0-1. You think you have enough time for a bathroom break in between innings, and then they speed it up on you.
You don't. Never.
The 0-1 skied into shallow left field, tracking back is Mercado. Samuelson there as well. And Mercado calls off everyone, makes the play. First out of the inning for Brendan Bobo. That's probably the first poorly executed at-bat for Brendan Bobo today as well.
Yeah, you know, it's a poorly executed at-bat for Bobo and a poorly executed bathroom break for you, Ryan, as he got back.
Blame Kyle. Kyle was in there first. You know, Kyle
sounds like a lot of excuses to me.
A poorly executed bathroom break. I mean, I was back before first pitch. Not enough time to sign back on and then off. TJ Foreman looks at a pitch below the zone. The count, 1-0. You know, it's tough. We have to climb a ladder, go through. There's a bunch of people downstairs you have to navigate through. It's a maze. It's hard to make your way to the bathroom as TJ Foreman looks at the second pitch. It is 2-0.
First, you're missing innings because you're eating, and now you're missing the first pitch because you have to go to the bathroom.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's been a tough. It's been a tough week for you.
Inside
Ryan.
a strike, the count 2-1, and when you're keeping yourself as hydrated as I am, drinking as much fluids, you need to go to the bathroom sometimes. And I'm human. I'm like everyone. I need to go to the bathroom. So, sometimes this has to happen. And I wasn't the only broadcaster who had to go to the bathroom in this half inning, as TJ Foreman grounded back up the middle. Kretschmar makes the play, throws to first in time.
Did Zach go to the bathroom
I
too?
did. I ran into Zach Ibrahim, the Blues broadcaster, also in line for the bathroom.
There you go. I wonder if he got back in time. Probably not.
Well, he only needed to blow his nose, so he was using the bathroom for a different reason.
Oh, there you go. So he didn't need to use the restroom. He just needed.
He needed to use the restroom.
He just needed to get paper towel.
He needed to use the restroom for some purpose. That brings up Austin Carrillo. Carrillo, he has been somewhat effective today. Has seen counts deep. 6, 7, 5 pitches, those to be the counts, as he squares to bunt, fouls one just outside of the third base line. The count 0-1, an unsuccessful bunt for a base hit to start off the at-bat for Austin Carrillo, trying to catch the third baseman in Samuelson off guard. Last time up, Carrillo, he struck out on 5 pitches. First time up, he grounded out off the glove of the pitcher, then Kretschmar got it and threw over to first, and then sandwiched in between a 7-pitch strikeout. He has scored once today. The 0-1 bounces in. The count is 1-1. Cade Walker. He came in the 5th inning. Since then, he has been pretty effective. Gave up the double to Andrew Sharp. Carrillo foul tips this pitch. It is 1-2. So he gave up that double to Sharp. Those runs were credited to Samuel Page because he was the one who had the batters on base. The 1-2, Carrillo bounced outside of the bag at first again. And it hit in between the grass and the dirt, and it bounced back into fair territory. So it bounced outside of the bag at first and then back in play. Nonetheless, it's just a foul ball, and Austin Carrillo continues to battle when he has 2 strikes on him.
And that's a tough break for Carrillo. I mean, obviously you'd want it the other way, bouncing fair on the left side of the bag, then bouncing foul, going towards that bullpen of the Blues. That would have been an extra base hit. But now you have to stand in the at the plate again. You still have the 1-2 count, so you're behind, and you need to really battle here.
Carrillo, he is looking to get aboard via a hit for the first time today, but looking to stay alive in the count. He's had 2 strikes on him every count he's seen. The 1-2, this one's bounced to first base. The throw to first, the pitcher in time to get it. An awkward stab to the bag by Cade Walker, but the Clarkson-Walker connection able to get a 1-2-3 inning for the Blues, and the Oaks go down, but they still lead 10-5. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Vinny Bologna leads off the top of the 8th inning for the Blues. They trail by 5, so they're going to need some run support, and quickly. It's going to have to come against Cole Baker, who is back on the hill for his 2nd inning of work. First pitch into Bologna, swing and a miss. Strike 1, the count 0-1. Last time up, Bologna, he struck out. That was Will Kokiar's only strikeout of the day. The Oaks, they've only had 2 total strikeouts on the entire game, so the Blues haven't been going down easy, but they have been going down as the Oaks have a 5-run lead. Bologna skies one high, out of play towards the right, quickly down 0-2. Bologna, outside of the strikeout, grounded out in the second inning, and sandwiched in between was an RBI single in the fourth, in which he got thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double. The 0-2, Baker. Off-speed pitch right down the middle of the plate, and it freezes Bologna. That pitch started on the inside part, probably a little inside, and then broke right to the center, and Bologna was fooled.
And that's a great at-bat to start this inning for Baker. 3 pitches and a looking strikeout. Man, today his stuff has been on. His last 2 performances weren't his best, but now today he's faced 5 batters and gotten 4 outs.
Nick Costello has reached base 3 times today. The first pitch to him, swing and a miss, 0-1. Baker goes ahead early. Those 3 times, he walked in the 3rd and the 6th with a single sandwich in the middle in the 4th. That was for an RBI. He came out to score on both of the walks. So a successful day for Nick Costello. I would say that's probably the player of the game for the Blues so far. The 0-1. Baker to the dish. Does not get the strike. A little bit too far elevated, a little bit too far off the plate. So the count is 1-1. We saw last inning for Baker, an 11-pitch inning. This inning, 5 pitches, about to see the 6th after the 3-pitch strikeout. Now goes down 2-1 to Nick Costello. And he's had a few times in this game, not very often, but a few times where his fastball has just ran arm side on him and not stayed close enough to the plate. So the count is 2-1. No one on base for Costello, the 8-hole hitter. A swing and a miss from Costello, so the count is now 2-2. And Cole Baker, he is now back even in the count and very close to back-to-back strikeouts. And Costello, he's having his best day of the season. He's batting .121 headed into the day. His on-base percentage at .293. 3-for-3 day for him. Strong. Breaking ball just misses the plate, curves around it. So the count is now full at 3-2. Costello trying to get aboard for his 4th time today. He has not had a day so far this season where he's had multiple hits or even multiple times on base, except for one on June 19th. That was a non-league game against the Mudcats. For the full count, he gets on for the 4th time today, so Nick Costello, a breakout game for him. 3 walks, 2 runs scored, an RBI, and a single, where he's been seeing counts well, working counts deep, and has been effective all day. Now he makes way to Ruben Mercado. Mercado grounded out twice in the 3rd and the 4th, and then walked in the 6th, but was stranded on second base. Baker, elevated fastball up and in, and cannot catch up is Ruben Mercado. The count is 0-1. Bobo holding on the runner in Costello at first. Zach Gregory shaded close to the second base bag. JT Naviak between second base and third base. Mercado skies one on the infield. Naviak and Gregory give it a look. Naviak calls him off underneath it behind the second base bag, and 2 outs of the inning as Costello cannot advance on the infield fly.
Also, right now, you can head down to the Oaks Instagram page. That's Conejo Oaks on Instagram, and you can vote on the story to decide the player of the game. Right now, the 2 players in contention are Brendan Bobo, who has a home run and 4 RBIs, and Andrew Sharp, who had a bases-clearing double, so a double and 3 RBIs. You can vote between the 2.
My vote personally would be for Brendan Bobo. I think that he has had the best day so far, as right here we see Cermak sky one into shallow right field. Foreman coming over towards the line in foul territory, makes the catch and ends the inning. So 4 batters faced, 1 left on first for Cole Baker, but no runs came across on no hits and no errors. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Oaks, they lead by 5. You're listening to the Conejo Oaks live stream presented by KDTV. Bottom 8, Sandoval, Suji, and Naviak, the order for the Oaks. Now pitching is Justin Trimble. He comes in for Cade Walker. Walker pitched 2 1/3, just 1 hit, 1 strikeout, and 1 hit by pitch. No earned runs, but he did give up that 3 RBI double to Andrew Sharp. First pitch, a strike from Justin Trimble. Trimble, a usual outfielder for the Blues. He started yesterday's game for the Blues in the field. He played right field yesterday as the second pitch in there for a strike, 0-2. This is Trimble's first pitching appearance of the season. He earned his way into the lineup yesterday after 2 days ago. He had a walk-off 2 RBI double to beat the Riptide. Now the 0-2 to Sandoval. Skied high, back out of play, so Sandoval stays alive at 0-2. Sandoval struck out in the third, then walked in the fifth. His first at-bat was a fly out to shortstop on the infield. Sandoval trying not to go down for the second time today.
And it's kind of crazy that Trimble's out there. He's listed as a pitcher, but it's crazy that we're 8 games.
Sandoval swings and misses, so a strikeout for Raul Sandoval, his second of the day, and Raul Sandoval continues to go down via the strikeout. He had 11 in his last 6 games headed into today. 2 more today make that 13 for his last 7 games.
But it's 8 games into the season for Trimble. He's played in 8 games prior to this. So the 9th game of the year for Trimble, even though he's listed as a pitcher, this is his first time on the mound. And what a way to start by getting a 4-pitch strikeout to Sandoval.
First pitch to Suji. Misses out of the zone for a ball. The count 1-0. And on my roster sheet, I have him listed as an outfielder.
On the Blues website, they have him listed as a pitcher.
I guess he does both, as we've seen from him.
As we're seeing right now.
Exactly. Saw yesterday in right field. Now he pitches to Caden Suji, who has a single to right. And Suji, he had a similar at-bat yesterday where he hit the ball to Trimble in right field on a single. This time, he hits the single off of Trimble. So Suji, his first at-bat is his first hit of the day. Caden Suji has been very solid at the plate in a limited sample size. Starting to get more time in as one of the catchers, as JT Naviak watches a pitch below the zone, miss from Trimble. The count is 1-0 to Naviak. And so JT has had one of his better games of the season, or at least has had a strong defensive day, and then came around to score after a walk in the third inning to start a big inning. Count is 1-1. Since then, he flew out on the infield and grounded out to second base. The count 1-1 to Naviak. Runner on first is Suji, being held on by Clarkson. Middle infield double play depth as Naviak lines one into center field. Suji going to advance to second base. He had to freeze as the step in by Cermak froze Suji from trying to go first to third, but JT Naviak comes up with a hit, and that is a big hit for JT. It's one of his first hits in a while.
Yeah, Naviak, he's been on a cold streak for a little bit, but right there he gets a single up the middle, advances the runner. There's still only 1 out. You have Grant Smith, who today, although he's struck out 3 times, he's the hottest hitter on this Oaks lineup coming into this game, but for Naviak, he was really, really struggling for a while. He started the year really, really hot, but right there gets a single.
He was 2 for 28 coming into the day today, and so now he is 3 for 30 with a 2 for 4 on base percentage day with the walk in the third as Grant Smith watches a pitch below the zone for a ball. The count 1-0. So that's the exact stats for JT Naviak. A good solid line drive right back up the middle to hopefully get him back in rhythm. Smith watches a pitch above the zone. It's now 2-0. Grant Smith has been seeing counts deep all day. 6-pitch at bat in the first. That ended in a walk. But then 3 straight strikeouts coming on 6 pitches in the third, 5 pitches in the fourth, and 7 pitches in the sixth. So seeing counts deep, but has not been able to put the ball in play yet today. 2-2 with 2 runners on. Suji at second, Naviak at first. Smith has to duck out of the way. That ball was coming for his head. The count 3-1 to Grant Smith. And Smith, like we mentioned, he's reached base at least twice every single time that he has been the leadoff hitter. Today, he's trying to get on for his second time after that walk in the first. It's been his poorest day as the leadoff hitter with 3 straight strikeouts, but this one lined into left field. It's going to get down. He has now gotten on twice. Suji holds up, and the bases are loaded with 1 out in the inning.
And Grant Smith, 3-0 count, swinging right there, sends one to left field for his first hit of the game, so his hit streak continues, and now the bases are loaded with only 1 out, and the Oaks right now, they're leading by 5, but, you know, against a team like the Blues who are in first place, this is great for them. You can never have enough insurance runs in a game that means so much in the standings in the CCL.
Zach Gregory now comes to the plate. He's reached base 3 times today, but he also has not been able to put the ball in play for a hit. Hit by a pitch in the first and the 6th, walked and came around to score in the 3rd, and then flew out to end the 4th inning. First pitch into him misses for a ball, the count 1-0. And you mentioned the importance in the CCL standings for these teams. If the Blues win this game, depending on the Arroyo Seco Saints game against the Academy Barons, the Oaks, they could be at the top of the CCL standings by the end of the day. Gregory swings at the 1-0 and misses the count 1-1. And actually, they'd be a half game back of the Saints as well, because if the Blues lose this game, they're at 8-6. Right now, the Saints, they are at 9-6. And if the Oaks win this game, they are at 8-6.
And right now in that Saints and Barons game, the Barons are up 2-6 right now. Or, excuse me, 6-2 right now.
Gregory, breaking ball, missed the zone, 2-1. So actually,
the Saints trailing, yeah.
Yes, if the Saints fall to 9-7, and the Oaks advance to 8-6, the Blues fall to 8-6, then the Blues and the Oaks are tied at the top of the CCL South in terms of winning percentage, I believe. Gregory, ball runs and hits the corner of the zone, the count 2-2. That math is correct, right?
I believe so. And you know, it's impressive for the Barons. The Barons did beat the Saints by a score of 6-2. That was on June 25th, all the way back when. And, you know, the Barons, they're looking for a win here.
Gregory fights one off, stays alive at 2-2.
But right now, you have a game against the first-place Saints, who are red hot. They've won 4 straight games going into this game against the Barons. And right now, the Barons at home at the MLB Youth Academy, they're leading by 4. It's huge for the Oaks.
It's huge for the Barons, too. They're sitting at the basement of the standings right now. They're trying to get back into things as Gregory, the 2-2, outside part of the plate, he gets rung up. That pitch looked a little bit outside. The umpire called it on the black, and a 6-pitch strikeout to Zach Gregory to put 2 down in the inning. Bases still loaded for Reagan Burford.
And the Barons, they won yesterday against the Riptide. They won that game 14-12. Wow.
The Barons won against Riptide.
Yes, the Barons beat the Riptide 14-12.
They've been playing well lately. They've been stringing together some wins. I know they're sitting at the bottom of the standings, but they've been putting together a few wins.
They played the Oaks tough on Tuesday. It was 3-4.
Reagan Burford watches the first pitch brush him back, so the count 1-0 to him. Burford, he's reached base twice. Singled in the 3rd, that was an RBI, came around to score. Also came around to score after a hit by pitch to lead off the 5th. Grounded into a double play to end the 6th, and then sacrificed 2 runners over in the 1st on a sacrifice bunt. Burford here swings at the 1-0. Fouls it out of play, the count 1-1. And so let's look at the Academy schedule, because they dropped a few games to start the season, but since then they've been pretty successful. They dropped their first 4, so they started 0-4. Then they had a stretch of winning 2 of 3 before they faced off against the Oaks on June 30th. And really, the Oaks have been the toughest team for the Barons to compete against, as Reagan Burford thinks about swinging, does not. The ball is too far elevated. Count is 2-1. And so they're currently winning against the Academy Barons. And they've lost 4 times to the Oaks. Outside of their games to the Oaks, Academy is 4-5. If they win today, it's 5-5 on the season. So really, Conejo has just been Academy's kryptonite, as Reagan Burford goes ahead in the count 3-1 with the bases loaded. One more ball from Justin Trimble will walk in a run.
Yeah, the Barons, they beat the Foresters. They beat the Saints. Have they played the Blues yet? Don't think they have.
The Barons have not played the Blues yet, so actually they have. The first game of the season for the Barons was against the Blues. It's the 3-1. Catches his own for a strike. The count is full with the bases loaded. 2 outs in the inning. The Oaks, they lead 10-5. They played the Blues one time. The Blues, they won 8-0.
Yikes. This is their first game of the season.
The runners are going. The 3-2. Burford flies into right field. Going back at the wall. Looking up. Grand slam. Reagan Burford. It kept going opposite way. Reagan Burford clears the bases with one shot and a grand slam to put the Oaks up 14-5. And what a great piece of hitting from Reagan Burford. He stayed down on the ball, and he just shot it the other way. The wind carried it out of here, and Reagan Burford now on the day has reached base 3 times, has hit twice, and one of them a grand salami.
And Burford, earlier in the game, he had a ball to right field. It went just about a foot foul of the 320 sign, and right there he goes opposite field, carries it in that direction. And, man, you know, we initially on the story poll, we had Brendan Bobo and Andrew Sharp. Right now, maybe Reagan Burford should be player of the game.
Yeah, I think that the poll might have been started a little bit too early. Reagan Burford, I think, grand slam.
I mean, yeah.
Puts him in the conversation at the very least.
You have a sac bunt, an RBI single, a hit by pitch which he comes around and scores, and then the home run.
Brendan Bobo watches the second pitch to him miss, so the count is 2-0 to Brendan Bobo. The scoreboard here is not updated. I'm fairly sure that the count is 2-0.
And the funniest thing is last time that he came up to the plate, we said possibly player of the game.
Bobo skies this one in foul territory, tracking as Samuelson looking up and over the Oaks dugout out of play. The count is 2-1.
Well, he said possibly player of the game, but then he hit into a double play. But now I think he makes up for that double play with a grand
he's
slam.
certainly back in the conversation. I think without a doubt he's back in the conversation. What do you guys think at home? Comment in the chat. Is it Brendan Bobo or is it Reagan Burford?
I'm leaning towards Burford now.
I am as well leaning towards Burford as Bobo now goes down even 2-2 in the count after going up 2-0, has seen 2 straight strikes to him.
Well, it depends. If Bobo,
Brendan
Bobo
Bobo
if he
still has another at bat.
If Bobo goes yard right here, who knows?
It's a lot of controversy over player of the game.
Who's going to get the belt today? Cody Sulak got it yesterday. I wonder if he still has the belt.
He does. That's the tradition, is that the player who wins player of the game passes it to the next person.
That was amazing.
The 2-2, Bobo swinging a miss. He strikes out swinging, and the inning is retired, but not after the grand slam to score 4 by Reagan Burford. There were 4 hits in the inning. No one left on base. We head to the top of the 9th inning. The Oaks, they need 3 more outs to shut down the Blues. They have a 9-run cushion, and it's Cole Baker's job. We'll be back for the top of that 9th inning on the Oaks live stream. Top of the ninth inning, Cole Baker trying to finish off the game for the Oaks. He needs 3 outs and has 9 runs of cushion. First pitch, misses the zone into Mason Grotto. The count 1-0.
So, Ryan, we're disagreeing right now. It's been a split decision between Burford and Bobo for player of the game.
I think that both of our votes are the same as Grotto grounds one to Naviak at shortstop. The throw on to first in time to get him. So now 9-run cushion and 2 more outs needed.
So with that being said, if there's a split decision downstairs with the people in the booth below us,
I think we should be the deciding factors.
I was going to say, should we let the players be this deciding factor?
Well, what do you suggest? We ask them?
Yeah, we straight up go to the dugout, say, who do you guys think, Bobo or Burford?
I think that's fair. I think we need because I think both me and you vote for Reagan Burford. The decision downstairs there went down in between innings as this first pitch is swung on a miss by Austin Shell, the count 0-1. I went down and there is a very much split decision. There is a very strong push for co-players of the game.
I mean, we could say co-players of the game. Do you want to interview them both?
Well, I think that would be absolutely fine, but who gets the belt?
That's
as
right.
The 0-1 is fouled off.
I don't think we can do co-players of the game because one person has to have the belt.
And if we were going to do co-players of the game, then we would have given it to both Raul Sandoval and Donovan Waitman a few games ago.
There you go. So we have to pick one.
I feel like we have to pick one.
It's
a tough decision.
Yeah, it's tough.
People in the chat, please help us out.
Please.
The 0-2, Shell, swing and a miss. A strikeout from Cole Baker, his 3rd of the day, and he is 1 out away from closing this game out. So let's run through the final stat lines for both Bobo and Burford. For Brendan Bobo, he has 4 RBIs. He is 1 for 4 on the day with a 3-run homer. Also reached on a walk, 2 runs scored, a strikeout as well. For Reagan Burford, he had a sacrifice bunt. He is 2 for 4 on the day, as this pitch is fouled off by Tate Samuelson. He has that grand slam in the 8th. He had an RBI single in the 3rd. He has 3 runs scored after he was hit by a pitch to lead off the 5th, and he came around to score. But he also has a double play to end the 6th inning. So both with a little bit of a blemish to their record as Samuelson bounces one outside of the bag. The count, 0-2, so 1 more out in this ball game. 1 more strike that the Blues are down to. No rally caps in the Blues dugout. We need some help.
Yeah.
Mikey and Jen Sandoval, they say that it is the grand slam that you give the player of the game to. Mariah Aguirre says maybe just ditch the belt today and let them both have player of the game.
No, there has to be a belt.
I feel like there has to be a belt. The belt is such a tradition
It's
here.
tradition. It has to be.
There's so much energy surrounding the belt as the 1-2 misses inside, so the count is now 2-2.
There's only one Super Bowl trophy. You can't give it to both teams that make it.
You can't split the belt.
Exactly.
So Mikey and Jen Sandoval, their vote is for Reagan Burford. I think that we're both leaning towards Reagan Burford as well.
I still am leaning towards asking the players.
Oh, you're leaning towards asking the players as the 2-2 fouled off out of play, so Tate Samuelson continues to stay alive here.
I mean, for us, I think it's Burford. But because there's the consensus split below us, and the last time we went out and there was a little bit of disagreement between the players on who should get the game between Sandoval and Waitman, I think we should just let it go to the players and let them decide.
Well, I think that would be a good choice, but how do we get the consensus of the players as well? As the game is now over, the 4th strikeout for Cole Baker as he strikes out Tate Samuelson. The Oaks win 14-5. The biggest controversy of the game is who's going to win player of the game. You'll find out on the Instagram and on the YouTube after with the player of the game interviews and graphics. But outside of this, the Oaks, they win at night. I mean, we know the main players. It's Brendan Bobo, Reagan Burford. What else did you see today?
I mean, I saw Cole Baker at the end of the game. He came in, and he pitched lights out to end it, had a lot of strikeouts, and he was really good. Brian Perez had a solid outing, giving up only 4 runs. And, the whole bullpen in general was pretty solid, but Baker at the back end, he was great. And the offensive explosion today, 14 runs and only giving up 5 runs. And this is the biggest margin of victory for the Oaks against a CCL opponent right now. You have the Blues that came into this game, and all the games against the Blues were close. They were one-run games, except for yesterday, which was a three-run game, but the Oaks, they came back and won after they trailed in that game late. And today, they come back, they beat the Blues, and it's the opposite of last weekend. Last weekend, they played twice, the Blues won them both. This weekend, the Oaks, they play the Blues twice, they win them both. So right now, it's a great week for the Oaks as they head into a non-conference game tomorrow before the break.
Yeah, and to final thoughts on the player of the game discussion, Mikey and Jen Sandoval making a strong push for Reagan Burford as player of the game. I'm compelled to agree with them. We will get the final consensus, but I think this game is huge for the Oaks. It seemed after last week that they were slipping out of CCL contention. They come in this week with a huge week to get them back into it, and now they're sitting towards the top of the standings, and this is what the potential of the team was at the start of the year, and they're living up to it. After a bad week last week, bounced back with a terrific week this week, and now they are close to the top of the CCL standings, depending on the result of the Arroyo Seco game against Academy. But if Arroyo Seco loses, the Oaks, they're your leaders headed into the All-Star break. So that's going to do it for us. The Oaks, they win 14-5. We will sign off. We will be back tomorrow, a non-league game at 1 p.m. Join us on the Conejo Oaks live stream, and see you then.